type of season they've had. But as you and I have talked about, George Allen can always get those old-timers up for those big games. He just has trouble with those average games.
Bob, there's a strong rumor going around the National Football League that George Allen might be in San Diego next year.
Yes, I've heard that also, and I think the fact that he spent so much of E. Bennett Williams' money back there in Washington might have something to do with that.
Well, maybe they got a fresh supply out in San Diego. So back deep to receive, Brian Bashnagel will be in the middle for the Chicago Bears. He'll be joined back there by Mike Adamle and Johnny Musso. Musso on the far side of the field, Adamle on this near side. They are both up at about the 10-yard line, and Bashnagel standing back at the 2. Kicking off will be Chester Markole for the Green Bay Packers. And this ball game just about ready to get underway. One of the players for the Bears has to go over to the sidelines to check out something, Doug Plank. And now he comes back out to his position on the field. Chester is back, getting poised and ready to go, and we're just about set for this ball game between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. You won't find a better rivalry anywhere. Chester's kick, and it is a squibber on the ground, goes through the wedge. It is picked up by Bashnagel at the 10. Back to the 15, to the 20, trying to find some running room. He's at the 25 and pushed down there. Brian Bashnagel returns it to the 25. Tommy Perko hit him and brought him down with help from Mike Charles McCoy. And the Bears start from the 25-yard line. I don't know whether Chester meant to squib it that way or whether he just kind of got on top of the ball, but it was not that difficult to handle for Brian Bashnagel.
Right, Jim. I'll tell you one thing. The fans are really ready for this ball game. I don't know whether they're just going to clap or holler just to try to keep warm, but it's going to be a different type of clap today with that muffled sound with the gloves.
All right, it's Walter Payton and Roland Harper as the running back. Bob Avellini is the quarterback. Split right to the wide side is James Scott. Now he goes in motion to the near side of the field. Avellini a long time at the line of scrimmage. Hands it to Roland Harper, hit at the line of scrimmage, spun out of there and got out to the 28-yard line. Hit and brought down by Clarence Williams. He was hit a yard behind the line of scrimmage, but there was no solid tackle made on him. And he slid out and got out to the 28-yard line for a gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7 for the Chicago Bears. One thing about that first game, the Packers moved the ball very well with Lynn Dickey at quarterback, but 2 key mistakes led to 2 touchdowns by the Chicago Bears. And the Packers, while they got close, never were able to overcome that 14-point deficit early in the game. Steve Schubert has come in. He has split far to the left side with a slot man on the left for Chicago. Second down, 7 yards to go for the first down, and the Packers' Dave Purefoy jumped offside. Purefoy may set a record before his career is over for career offside penalties called against him.
He and Dave Roller, Jim, they both, as you well know, come off that ball awful quick, and they start anticipating. We've talked many times, a lot of times they'll be looking for the center, watching his hands, waiting for the squeeze of that ball. Dave is very quick. I know he has replaced Dave Roller, and I think you're going to see them both working out there today. But, you know, they both have done such a good job for us this year. Our defensive line, especially last week, was exceptional against the Vikings, and they're going to be keying on Walter Payton all day long.
Makes it a second and 2 for the Chicago Bears. This time the ball moves out to the 33-yard line. Bashnagel and Steve Schubert are bringing the plays from the sidelines, and Bashnagel is in there right now. James Scott is the slot man on the left side on second down and 2. Handoff goes to Roland Harper. He has a first down. He's across the 35 out to the 38-yard line in the arms of Don Hanson. Straight ahead power by the Chicago Bears. I don't think you're probably going to see too much fancy early in the game.
Exactly. You're going to see a lot of the plays off the guard, up the center, maybe some delays, maybe some draw plays, Jim, but it's going to be difficult to run wide today because of the type of field that we have.
It's at the 39-yard line of the Chicago Bears. First down as they register the first one of the afternoon. Got some help this time. They put Harper as a wing on the right side and one lone running back in Walter Payton. And the Packers again almost jump offside. Payton is sweeping to the right side, tries to cut back in. There is a flag down on the play, and Payton goes down at the 41-yard line. So apparently that right end or the right side linebacker, who could have been Freddie Carr, might have lined up offside after he made the jump. We'll watch and see what the penalty is going to be. There was a pickup of only 2 yards on the play. It is offside against the Green Bay Packers again, and I think that's what happened. I believe it was Fred Carr who jumped offside, then tried to stop, but may have been lined up offside once he got stopped.
Exactly. Again, great anticipation by the Packer defense, and this brings up a different set of circumstance when you have 1st and 5 and 1st and 10, because now you have to watch for that run and the pass.
Well, the Packers seem to be a little over-anxious to start this ball game. It goes to the 44-yard line, where it becomes a 1st and 5 yards to go for the first down. The Bears again go with the same formation. Walter Payton, the lone running back, and Harper a wing on the right side as Avellini calls the plays. for Chicago. This time he's going to go to the weak side of the field, and Payton is getting out to the right side. Hit and brought down on a fine tackle by Perry Smith at about the 43-yard line. So he picked up less. Well, he didn't pick up anything. He lost a yard on the play as Perry Smith played that one very well.
He sure did, Jim. That was that pitch out to the left-hand side to Payton. But I'll tell you who defeated that play. That was Freddie Carr, number 53. He read that play very well, and he beat the pulling guard coming out of there and actually upset the timing.
So it's the second half, 6 yards to go for the first down for the Bears at the 43-yard line they're on. The Packers try to stop the Bears here, but have made a couple of mistakes on offside penalties. Let's see whether they've gotten over the anxiousness now. One lone running back again. Here's the handoff to Payton up the middle, hit immediately, but he plows forward with good leg work to the 47-yard line. He doesn't have the first down. Don Hanson and Mike McCoy made the tackle, but you just saw right there some of the power of Walter Payton, who at 5'11" goes 203 pounds, so he's not a little guy by any means at all. So it's going to be third down, and 2 yards to go for the first down for the Chicago Bears at the 47-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. One thing about the first game between the Bears and the Packers, they were able to hold Walter Payton for most of the game until he broke loose for 42 yards. Mike Adamle has come in. Roland Harper is still in there. This time he goes as a wing. Here's the handoff to Payton, trying to sweep to the right side. He breaks through midfield, 45. 40-yard line, still on his feet and pushed out of bounds at the 31-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. That's just what we were talking about. He broke off one for about 20 that time.
Exactly. It looked like the old Packers sweep that time, Jim, with his pulling guard and Roland Harper blocking out in front of him. And I've been talking to some people around the league, and they think that Roland Harper is probably the finest blocking back in the National Football League right now. And then part of the reason that Payton has had so many yards is because of Roland Harper.
Well, he had Harper and Adamle both out, leading the interference on him on the sweep, and he sent one tackler to the outside. He cut inside and then got to the outside again. At the 31-yard line, first down for the Chicago Bears again. A good march by the Bears. Give it off to Harper, hit at the line of scrimmage, which is the 31, but he dives forward to the 29-yard line. Picked up 2. Holden Roche and Fred Carr make the tackle for the Green Bay Packers. Payton has 3 carries for 26 yards already in the ball game, and the Bears are looking for him to have a good game today. You heard Bill Tobin say that it is imperative that he have a good game. Maybe it is a true test of what kind of a running back he is on this particular day. The New York Jets 6, Baltimore nothing in the first quarter. The Jets missed the extra point. Second down, 8 yards to go for the first down. Another missed extra point. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Second down, one lone running back. Harper a wing on the right side. Split receivers left and right. Hand off to Payton, trying to sweep right. Cuts upfield. He's still on his feet at the 25, and down he goes at the 23-yard line. There was no room outside. Again, he cut it back inside and got good yardage out of the play. And if you'll recall, the first time they played the ball game, that's the exact play he scored a touchdown on.
Sure was, Jim, and he read the hole real well, going back behind his interference, which was going to the right-hand side. And I think that's showing Walter Payton's great experience. He's starting to learn now, and he's looking. You can see he can't go outside. He sees that opening back to the inside, and he took it.
Third and 2.5 yards to go for the first down. The Bears almost have to get to the 20, and the ball is at the 23. This time they'll go out of the I formation with the fullback being Mike Adamle. They give it to Walter Payton. He tries to dive. I think he lost the ball and had to stop and pick it up. And who recovered the ball is loose at the 22-yard line. They have not signaled who got the ball yet. That is the key play, and they're going to look down there to see who has it, and I would expect it's the Chicago Bears. It is the Bears who have the ball at the 22-yard line, but they don't get the first down. Walter lost that ball as he tried to hit into the line of scrimmage. And when he hit, the ball went down to the ground, and he had to fall down on top of it. Dan Jiggets is actually the man who got it, and Payton was trying to get it. So it's going to be fourth down, and 2 yards to go for the first down, and the Bears have not made a move to go to Thomas yet. They are going to go for the first down. Brian Bashnagel is bringing in a play, so it's 4th and 2. And this is a surprising thing right here. They are going to go for the first down. 4th and 2 at the 22-yard line. And now the Bears say, maybe we better call timeout and find out what in the world's going on. So the Bears call timeout. Let's take it. This is the Packer Radio Network.
50 miles out that wintry day, a solitary man was trapped, they say. Out on a snowmobile, riding alone. Biggest storm of the winter between him and home. Well, he could have dug in and waited her out. Instead, he turned north and let out a shout. Come on, you blizzard, I'll play your game. Me and this lead, 'cause cyclones the name. That blizzard did its best and beat on his back, following along in his burning track. But that racing bred sled just hunched down and flew. Wasn't a thing that deer couldn't do. Well, he made it home, and it's perfectly clear. Out on the snow, nothing runs like a deer. Big John Deere.
Well, surprisingly, on 4th and 2 at the 22-yard line, the Bears are going to go for the first.
Well, Jim, I don't think that's so surprising. As you probably can remember, the Bears have lost 2 games this year because of the kicking of Bob Thomas. He missed 2 extra points up in Minnesota when they lost to Minnesota up there by 1, and then he missed an extra point against the Oakland Raiders. 2 very important games for the Bears. So that may have something to do with this decision.
All right, Walter Payton and Mike Adamley are going to be the running backs, and they also have Roland Harper in as the wing on the right, so this could be that sweep play again. You got to be very careful of it. 4th and 2, the Packers with a chance to stop Chicago. Handed off to Walter Payton. He got outside, and he got the first down across the 20 to the 18-yard line. Clarence Williams had a shot at him, but couldn't get him. Dave Roller finally made the tackle as he came in, but the Bears do get the first down. Walter Payton running well behind the interference out in front of him, but he had some power also. So it's going to be a first down for the Bears, and they mark it at the 18-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. The first gamble of the game pays off for Chicago. 9:49 to go. The Bears have not thrown the ball in this drive, which started at about the 25-yard line. First down, I formation. Harper is in there, and the tailback position is Walter Payton. He gets the ball hit at the line of scrimmage and goes down at the 17. Clarence Williams made the initial hit on him. Just straight ahead power again by the Chicago Bears with good blocking out in front. So it is going to be second down. Let's call it 9 yards to go for the first down for Chicago as Steve Schubert comes in to bring the play, and he replaces Brian Baschnagel, who goes to the sideline. Those guys are probably glad to be the messengers today. They'll keep warm there, right? So it's going to be second and 9. The Bears still have not put it in the air. The ball resting at the 18-yard line. Split receivers both to the left side. James Scott and Steve Schubert. Greg Latta is the tight end to the right side. Handoff this time to Roland Harper. He hits it to the 16, but he's in the throws. Dave Roller, and Dave flanged him to the ground, I think is the proper term to use. Dave would like to have a good day today after all that's been written about it.
Right, to know Dave is to love him, though, because he's that way off the field, too. But he's a great football player. He's been a great asset to the Packers this year, Jim, and it's too bad he had that ankle injury and kind of took him out of that starting lineup. But I know he's glad to be back in there today.
Third down, 8 yards to go for the first down for the Chicago Bears. They're at the 16-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. The Packers defensively have Johnny Gray and Steve Luke at the safeties, Willie Buchanan and Perry Smith at the corners in that defensive backfield. Wing right is Roland Harper again, and Payton is the lone running back. And here's Avellini. First pass, the Packers blitz, and Freddie Carr got him. Freddie Carr coming from the right side on the blitz, and Avellini had no chance in the world to throw that ball.
Absolutely great, Jim. The blitz by Freddie Carr coming in from the left-hand side. Freddie with his great speed and great range. He was right on top of Avellini. Didn't even have a chance, and a big play by the Packer defense again. They're just looking just about as good as they did last week against Minnesota.
Now, let me tell you something interesting. The field goal try by Thomas will come 1 yard further back than it would have had they tried it on the previous series.
I'm sorry I said it before.
So this is going to be a 40-yard field goal try by Bob Thomas of the Chicago Bears with 8:16 to go. The ball is down. The kick is in the air, and it appears to be long enough, and it's good. Thomas kicked one. 40 yards for the Chicago Bears, and they go in front 3-0 with 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. Timeout. This is the Packer Radio Network.
The independent insurance agents of Wisconsin. They're where you are. No matter where you go in Wisconsin, no matter where you live, an independent insurance agent is where you are. Being number one means being able to serve you, your family, your business. And 2,200 independent insurance agents in Wisconsin alone means serving you first, serving you fastest, serving you best. No matter where you live or work in Wisconsin, the insurance agent who displays the big I symbol is near you. See your independent insurance agent. They're number one because they're where you are. Your independent insurance agent.
So the Chicago Bears score on their first possession, take a 3-0 lead, and with 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the first quarter, Packers are going to get it for the first time. Mike Charles McCoy, the deep man, but he's all the way up to the 10-yard line. Not really respecting Bob Thomas's kickoff abilities. He hits the line drive. It goes past one man, picked up by Dave Osborne at the 20. He's at the 25, handed it off. Now he wanted to hand it to Mike Charles McCoy, and they never really got it done. And they're thrown at the 28-yard line by Tom Hicks. That was kind of a strange play. Osborne, who is a pretty good runner himself, but he doesn't have the speed of Mike Charles McCoy, wanted to give it back to Mike, and he really never got it done. I think he was afraid of losing it, so he just went down at the 28-yard line.
Can't be indecisive in the National Football League. You're really going to get hit, and Ozzy's a pretty good runner. He should have just taken that ball upfield.
Carlos Brown, the quarterback. Running backs are John Brockington and Eric Torkelson for the Green Bay Packers. Kenny Payne split to this near side of the field. And the first handoff goes to John Brockington, and John is out to the 29-yard line for a pickup of maybe a yard. No more than that. Wally Chambers and Ron Rydalch make the tackle for the Chicago Bears. It is Chambers who is playing right end in place of Roger Stillwell, and Rydalch is playing the right tackle where Chambers normally plays. Jim Osborne and Mike Hartenstein are the other two men on that front four.
Jim, I think it's because Wally Chambers has a broken arm, and he gets hit a little less when he's playing that defensive end position.
Ollie Smith is in the starting lineup in the place of Steve Odom, too, who is still suffering from that deep bruise he suffered last week against the Minnesota Vikings. 2nd and 9, Carlos Brown had off to Will Harrell trying to sweep right, and the Bears had it perfectly played, and they came up and threw him at the 27-yard line, Craig Clemens and Jim Osborne. But all Will Harrell had to do was run right into their arms because two of them are standing there waiting for him.
Right, very poor blocking. Great penetration there by number 43 for the Bears. That was Craig Clemens. He came across there real well and just completely broke up the interference on that sweep.
So on 3rd down, it'll be Carlos Brown who'll have to pass it. He's 14 out of 33 for 115 yards, 42% this year. And Carlos has been intercepted on 5 different occasions. One lone running back for the Packers. Carlos taking his time on the draw play to John Brockington. John dances to the 30 and out to the 34-yard line. But he's about 4 yards shy of the first down as the Bears make the tackle. Mike Hartenstein is in on the play, and also Craig Clemens. So the Packers will have to give it up. They didn't make much in that first series of theirs, but again, they didn't take any chances with the ball either. Schubert and Baschnagel will go back deep for Chicago. 6.5 minutes remaining. First quarter, the Bears are out in front 3-0, just as they got in front the first time these two teams played. The officials stopped the clock for some reason or other. Dave Beverly is in to kick for the Packers, and Dave has not had sterling here. 36.7 yards per kick is his average. It's awfully hard to get that ball to do very much on a day like today, too. That ball is heavy and hard. Waiting for the snap from center is Beverly. Schubert and Baschnagel back at the 25-yard line of Chicago. Highland gets a good snap to Beverly, and he's going to kick it. It gets a pretty good kick away. And Schubert is going to take it at the 27-yard line, coming to the right at the 30. Got away from one man. Flag is thrown, and down he goes at the 30-yard line. The man who made the initial contact for the Green Bay Packers was Ron Axe. And then the tackle made by Charlie Hall, but upfield there was a flag thrown on the play. And generally that goes against the team receiving the ball because it could be a clip or something like that. Personal foul clip, Chicago. Move it half the distance to the goal line from the 30 all the way back to about the 16-yard line. That's where the Bears have to start it.
Exactly, Jim. That was a return right by the Chicago Bears. And anytime you have a return right or left, your chances of a clip are greatly improved versus the return up the middle. And in that case, they did have a clip. Schubert was trying to get to the outside and was not successful. Good coverage by the Pack.
So it'll start at the 16-yard line for the Chicago Bears. They get it with 6 minutes to go. Johnny Musso is the man who is guilty of the clip. Walter Payton, Roland Harper, the running backs for the Bears from their own 16-yard line. They give it to Payton, sweeping to the right side at the 16. At the 17, he's hit and pushed down by Gary Weaver. And the Packer defensive unit is playing with some intensity right now, just as the Chicago Bear unit was doing a moment ago.
Yes, they were, Jim. This time, they've been kind of picking on our right side over there with Clarence Williams and Gary Weaver on the run most of the season. That time they played it real well. They both played off the interference and made the tackle.
Second down. And it will be 8 yards to go for the first down for Chicago at their own 18-yard line. Cold day here, but once the game gets underway, you just practically forget the cold, and we're going to see a good football game. The clock at 5:24 to go here in the first quarter. Bob Avellini has not thrown the ball yet today. Bob waiting with the split running backs of Harper and Payton. Gives it to Payton, trying to come to the right side. Clarence Williams had him. He got away from him. And he runs into the 25. Clarence Williams had him totally hemmed in at the 17-yard line, and he just blew right by Clarence.
Yes, he did, Jim. Clarence had great penetration that time. He played it just exactly the way he should have, except he went for the shoulder-high tackle. And as you well know, you don't tackle a guy like Payton around the shoulders. Payton got away with him with that great lower body strength and ran it up the middle.
Now, the Bears will go with two tight ends. Dan Jiggets, who is normally an offensive tackle, will go in as a tight end. And he will play opposite Greg Latta on the other side. So it's obviously a running play for the Chicago Bears. From the 25-yard line, they have third down and about a half yard to go for the first down. At the 25-yard line, they're on. And the Packers have had difficulty stopping the Bears from controlling the ball here in the first quarter. I formation for the Bears with Adam Lee, the fullback. Now Greg Latta comes to the right side. They had both of the tight ends on the same side there for a moment. Here's the handoff to Walter Payton. He's got a first down. He spins through out to the 31-yard line. First down, Chicago. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packer Radio Network.
You're listening to WTMJ Milwaukee, your station for the Packers, the Bucks, the Brewers, and the Badgers.
So the Bears do have a first down at the 30-yard line. They have rushing totals now of 58, 62 yards here in the first quarter. No passing. They haven't thrown it yet. Harper is back in there. They go with Walter Payton. Split right, one receiver. Here's Avellini. Play action, back to pass. Loops it out to the right side. Caught by Harper. 35-yard line, and he spins forward to almost the 40 for near a first down. At about the 39-yard line, he'll be a couple of yards shy. Willie Buchanan made the tackle, but Avellini just floated the ball out high over the line of scrimmage to Roland Harper on the right side, and he picked up good yardage.
Right, that was that flood pattern to the back coming out on the right-hand side. Harper made a good move, and I think that was Gary Weaver's man. He was supposed to be responsible for Harper. Harper made a nice catch and gained about 9.5 yards.
Dennis Lick, the rookie from Wisconsin, is in at right tackle, and Jeff Stevie has moved to right guard. Revi Sori is out of there right now. Second down and a yard to go for the first down for the Chicago Bears. They have to get it to the 41, and they're almost at the 40. Here's a handoff to Payton outside. He got the first down at the 41-yard line, but that's all he got. At the 41, hit by Freddie Carr and Don Hanson, who bring him down at the 41-yard line. So the Bears keep the drive going with another first down, and the Packers need to get a big play again and change the momentum of the game here in the first quarter. The Bears are dominating it right now. The Packers have had it for 3 offensive plays, and that's all. And in their 3 offensive plays, they made a grand total of 6 yards. So it's not been a productive first quarter. At the 42-yard line, first down. The Chicago Bears, Harper, and Payton, the running back. Boschnagel is left, and to the right side is James Scott as the flanker. Waiting for the snap from center. Packers almost jump. Handoff goes to Payton. There's a flag thrown on the play, and Payton is out to the 45-yard line. Now, I thought the Packers started to jump, but it appeared they got back on side. So we'll see what happens on the flag. Offside against the Green Bay Packers. The third time that's happened today.
That's 3 of those, Jim, as you mentioned, and we can't keep giving the Bears all this help. As you mentioned before, they have absolutely controlled the ball this first quarter. We've only had 3 plays, and I've been fairly impressed the way they've been keeping the ball. Of course, we're giving them a little bit of help, but it'll be interesting to see the time of possession after the end of this first quarter.
Some scores for you at halftime. Cleveland 7, Miami 6. Miami missed the extra point. New England 31, Denver nothing at halftime. Halftime, the Giants 14, Seattle 9. Halftime, Washington 14, Philadelphia nothing. First quarter, Jets 6, Baltimore 3. The Jets missed the extra point. First quarter, Houston 3 and Atlanta nothing in the first quarter. First down and 5 for Chicago, the 47. Handoff goes to Roland Harper up the middle. He's at the 49-yard line of Green Bay. Dave Purifoy made the tackle, but he again is close to a first down. Are my eyes deceiving me, or are there some snowflakes floating around?
That's the Chinese fallout we talked about.
I think it may be just a few snowflakes that are flowing around at the moment. You get some heat patterns coming out of the booth and out the window that kind of confuse it, too. But there is a little bit of snow coming down. Second down, short yardage again for the Bears. They're just over midfield. We'll call it the Packer 49-yard line, and then second down, and 2 yards to go for the first down. High formation again for Chicago. And the handoff is fake. Back to pass is Avellini. He's throwing the fly pattern for James Scott. Scott caught it for a touchdown right over Willie Buchanan. Scott flew by Willie Buchanan at the 20-yard line and beat him by 3 yards.
He sure did, Jim. I thought Willie had that covered, but James Scott showing great great speed on that fly pattern, and Avellini really put the ball out there in front of him. I thought he was going to go to Harper because Harper was loose also on the flat here, but that was just a great pass, great execution, and James Scott just really ran by Willie Buchanan.
I'm not even sure Willie ever saw the ball.
I don't think so. That really hurt, and maybe Willie has slowed down a little bit because of that broken leg, but he didn't show very good speed or mental knowledge on that ball.
Well, Scott flew right by. Down goes the ball, up goes the kick. It's good. The Bears lead at 10-0. Timeout. This is the Packer Radio Network.
It was just about sundown when Lewis said to Clark, "Let's pull up near these yellow stones. Looks like a good place to park." Well, Clark turned back to Lewis and said, "My old faithful friend, look out for that geyser, or this will be the end."
You know you need a strong partner if you're gonna get by. Because you need a strong partner. You need a bagpipe gonna die. And then die, and then die.
A businessman should never limit his idea of banks to just checks. M&I can work in partnership with a business, offering sound thinking in addition to services you can rely on. It's good to have a strong partner like M&I.
You know you need a strong partner if you're gonna get by. Because you need a strong partner. You need a bagpipe gonna die. And then die, and then die.
Members FDIC.
Well, lightning strikes, and the Bears have a 10-0 lead.
Jim, I think Willie Buchanan got caught looking back in the backfield. He had no idea, as you mentioned, where that ball was, and James Scott, he was looking back in the backfield, and James Scott just blew right by him on that fly pattern for the touchdown.
All right, there is a very fine bit of snow coming down right now here at Lambeau Field. Packers again are behind the Chicago Bears, just as they were in the first game. Now it's 10-0. Thomas kicks off. And he hits a high floater that Mike Charles McCoy is going to take at the 13-yard line, up the middle to the 20. 25, gets to the outside, 30. One more man to beat, 35. Try to get again, around the corner, 40, 45, and goes out of bounds. At the 49-yard line of the Chicago Bears on a heck of a run by Mike Charles McCoy. Started up the middle, then came to the near side of the field, and got it around the corner. And one more step, and he would have been gone for the touchdown.
Right, Jim. If we'd have had a little faster field, there was one of the problems you have on a field like today where it might be kind of hard, and he had a little trouble getting his footing when he came to the left-hand side there trying to go upfield.
38 yards on the return by Mike Charles McCoy, who came in with a 26-yard average. First down for the Green Bay Packers in Bear territory at the 49-yard line. Carlos Brown, the quarterback. Packers need a touchdown to get back in the ballgame. They give it to Eric Torkelson. He dives for 2 yards, and that's all. Down to about the 47-yard line of Chicago. In fact, they may give him only the 48, where it becomes a second down and 8 yards to go for Green Bay. Chicago so far has run off a total of 15, 16, 18 plays, and that was the fourth for Green Bay here in the first quarter. We're down to a minute and a half to go before the end of the first quarter. Second down. Let's call it 9 yards to go for the first down. Split to the right side goes Kenny Payne. To the left side is Ollie Smith for the Green Bay Packers. Running back to Will Harrell and John Brockington. Carlos back to pass. He's got some time. Now it breaks down. Now he runs out of there. He's at the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30, and down he goes at the 27-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Carlos Brown could have driven a U-Haul truck right up the middle of the field.
Sure could, Jim. He was looking for the back, flaring out to the right-hand side. Couldn't find him. There was great pressure. He saw that hole up in the middle and took it, showed great speed, and showed some intelligence right there at the end because three tacklers were converging on him and we went right down to the ground. But that was a very nice play, very alert on the play of Carlos Brown.
Well, Carlos seems to be able to kind of wiggle out of the hole of some of those guys who come charging to it. At the 27-yard line of Chicago, the Packers threatened with 38 seconds to go in the first quarter. That was their first down. Handoff goes to Eric Torkelson. Oh, he got caught right around the head and spun down by Wally Chambers at the 27-yard line for little or no gain on the play. Chambers really grabbed him. You can get hurt on a play like that easily.
I'll tell you, that guy is so quick, and he just overwhelmed Mark Concar on the left-hand side here. Mark didn't even hardly brush him, and he was right in that backfield.
We're down to 12 seconds to go here in the first quarter. We may not get another play off before this quarter ends, and I don't think we are. As the clock winds down to 5-4, Carlos is not at the line of scrimmage, so that'll be the end of the first quarter. But again, the Bears are out in front of it, 10-0. Timeout. This is the Green Bay Packer Radio Network.
Hey, are you thinking about buying a new pickup?
Go to a place that can give you 26 top trucks to choose from. The Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula Ford dealers.
Good advice. Ford has just the pickup to fit your needs, your lifestyle, and your wallet.
Are you looking for a standard-size workhorse, a heavy-duty hauler, or a camper-carrying recreation truck? Ford has them all.
You get your choice of the regular cab, the family-size super cab that seats 6, and the 4-door crew cab.
And there are options to meet every need, like high-efficiency V8 engines, deluxe interiors, pickup box covers to give you dry storage space.
Plus, you can get rugged 4-wheel on the F-150 and 250 for traction to get you through rough country and rough weather.
And most of the Ford pickups run on regular gas.
Yes, sir. If a tough truck is what you need, look at the 26 tough choices from Ford. And you can see them right now at Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula Ford dealers.
The Green Bay Packers threatening the Chicago Bears at the 27-yard line right now, but the Bears are out in front 10-0. And the Packers try to get right back into the ball game. In Chicago, you'll recall, the Bears went ahead 14-0. The Packers made 2 mistakes there. They haven't made any mistakes here today. The Bears have earned the 10 points that they have. The Packers came back to make it a 14-13 ball game before they lost it 24-13. So it's tough to come from behind, and you never want to get behind this many points. But a touchdown here, Bob, would put them right back in the ball game.
Sure would, Jim. We've got to start controlling that ball a little bit better. We haven't shown much of an offense, with the exception of Carlos's run. And talking about his running, he showed great running last week against Minnesota. He was a tight end when he was in college, Jim, I believe, out there in California before
his final year.
Right, before they moved him back to quarterback. So it's very important for us to take this ball in for a score.
So it's going to be second down, 10 yards to go for the first down. The ball is the 27-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Brockington and Will Harrell are the running backs for Green Bay. In motion to the near side of the field comes Ollie Smith. Here's Carlos Brown back to pass. He's got some protection, fires under pressure, and he threw it right into the arms of Allen Ellis, who couldn't hold it. Allen Ellis covering Kenny Payne that time downfield, and Allen had his hands wrapped around it, but it hit those shoulder pads and bounced right out.
That was a close one. Kenny Payne from the right-hand side was running a turn-in. We brought Ollie Smith in motion, trying to pull the linebacker away from that turn-in spot. But Ellis did play that. He was not backing up. There's not much room. He didn't have to worry about the fly, and he almost had that interception.
Jerry Myers, who is a good pass rusher, has come into the lineup for the Bears on 3rd and 10. At the 27-yard line of the Packers need one right here. Carlos got a tough situation. Back he goes into the pocket. Got protection, fires over the middle, overthrew Eric Torkelson. Eric down at about the 18-yard line was open. He cut inside and had position on the man, but Carlos just threw it too high and probably too hard on that particular play.
Especially on a day like today. That was a circle route to our backs, with Eric running the circle route to the inside, coming out of the backfield. And I believe you're exactly right, Jim. That might have been thrown a little too hard or maybe a little too high on a day like today.
So it's going to be a 44-yard field goal try with Carlos Brown holding and Chester Markle trying it. Chester this year has hit on 7 out of 12 field goals. 38 yards is his longest. This will be 44. Down it goes at the 34-yard line. It appears to be just short. No, it's good. Oh, it just made it over by about a foot. And it's 10-3. He didn't have anything to spare on it, but it's a 44-yard field goal, and the Packers are on the board. Timeout. This is the Green Bay Packer Radio Network.
You are arranging for a shipment of rare bongo antelopes from Nairobi, Kenya, to the Milwaukee County Zoo by way of Rome, Naples, and Washington, D.C. in a new Concord transport. Or your business, in a diplomatic gesture, is sponsoring a $1 million traveling Chinese art show in 12 cities across the United States. Or you are shopping around for reasonable automobile insurance for your family. Your premiums are constantly rising. What do? Call Robertson Ryan. Whatever your insurance needs, whether it's for property, automobile, or business, call Robertson Ryan. For insurance, call Robertson Ryan.
Chester Marco with his longest field goal of the year, 44 yards. And, Bob, I thought that thing had gone under, but it must have cleared that bar by about 2 inches.
Not by too much, Jim. The reason it went over the crossbar, but hit the standard bearer in the back. That's the reason it kind of looked like it might have not been a good field goal.
Who was that guy that in the National Football League used to jump up and block them? He'd stand right below the goalpost, and he could jump high enough. And they used to place him back there for those low field goals and knock him down if they were low like that. I can't remember his name.
Maybe that was Willie Wood. All 5'10" of them.
Willie could jump high. Willie was one of my all-time favorite field goal kickers. He kicked one time that almost cleared the line of scrimmage. Here's a sliding ball that goes down the middle of the field, picked up short by the Chicago Bears. And Roland Harper's got it, and he's running it back all the way to the 42-yard line. Roland picked it up about the 25, and Kenny Starch makes the tackle on him, but Chester got a terrible kick again. It didn't get through the wedge, and Roland Harper returned it out to the 41, 42-yard line. And so the Bears again start with good field position at their own 42-yard line. They need a 10-3, and the Packer defensive unit now is going to have to do the job on Chicago. 14:40 to go here in the second quarter. 10-3, the Bears are leading. James Scott split to the right side, Bashnagel to the left, Harper and Walter Payton, the running backs for the Chicago Bears. Scott is in motion to the near side of the field. Here's Avellini. Gives it off to Walter Payton, and he's out to the 45 for a pickup of about 3. Mike McCoy on the little counter play is the man who made the tackle at the 45-yard line. But you get nervous every time Walter gets the ball.
Sure do, Jim. That was the pulling guard was pulling left, and the counterplay back to the right-hand side. And so far, Clarence Williams on our right-hand side has played a pretty good ball game, especially working against the plays up the middle.
So Walter Payton at this point has 11 carries for 52 yards. He's trying to get back in front in the rushing race in the National Football League. Second down, 6 yards to go for the first down for the Chicago Bears from their own 45. Split the two running backs, give it to Walter Payton, trying to sweep to the outside. Packers have people there, but Walter got past him. Got to midfield into the 49, and he's very close to a first down for Chicago. Mike McCoy and Willie Buchanan are the people who made the tackle. But again, the Packers had to play well defense, but Walter seems to get through them on that right side. And he made it that time out to the 49-yard line of the Packers. He's about a half yard shy of the first down. And the Packers have just not been able to put the Chicago Bears in long yardage on third down situations so far in this ball game. At the 49, 3rd and 1. The Bears again in Packer territory with 13 and a half minutes to go here in the second quarter. Jiggett, the left tackle, has come in as a tight end. Two running backs out of the eye with Adam Lee, the blocking back, directly in front of Walter Payton. They give it off to Walter. He dives. He got the first down to the 48-yard line of Green Bay. And Perry Smith kind of distraught because nobody reached up and hit Walter in midair. He was able to get over the top and get the first down at the 48-yard line. So the Bears keep the drive going and get a first down. It always amazes me how many divers there are in this league and how seldom they are stacked up right up high.
You would think, Jim, that they'd bring our linebackers up there knowing that, man, and after a while you get to feel a tendency because you see it in the films that a guy's going to do that. But apparently they're using a different approach, and again, Payton went for that first down.
Well, about the time you do that, Walter would scoot outside.
Right.
That'd be the last you'd see of him. At the 48-yard line, first down for the Chicago Bears, again in Packer territory. Out of the I formation, Roland Harper comes back in. Slot man to the right side, split man right. Here's Avellini, quick screen, throws it to James Scott. Scott's got good blocking out in front of him, and he runs it down the sidelines and steps out at the 38-yard line. I'm not sure who that was blocking out there in front of him for the Chicago Bears. I think it was Revy Story. And James Scott had some good running room, and he picked up almost 10 yards. And again, the Bears get big yardage on first down.
Right, Jim. Scott made a couple quick steps upfield, then came back to get the ball on like a screen to the flanker. By that time, Story got out in front of him, and he gained about 10 yards on that play. He made a real nice catch also. On a day like today, that ball was a little bit low, and it's extra hard to catch a low ball like that on a cold day.
It's going to be second down and just inches to go for the first down. Scott, by the way, out of the World Football League, has now caught 22 passes this year, and he has 4 touchdowns. And he came in with 335 yards, and he's got 58 more today. So he's getting close to 400 yards on receptions this year. Second down, short yardage for the Chicago Bears, and they can retain their regular formation. They do not go with 2 tight ends. Scott is in motion to the near side of to the far side of the field, rather. Here's the head off to Walter Payton. He tries to hit for the first down, lost the ball. It's loose. Who got it? It's the Green Bay Packer football. Walter Payton had the ball pop loose in midair. It hit the ground, and the man who came away with it is Johnny Gray. For the Green Bay Packers, that is the third fumble recovery he has had this season. So the Packers get it back and stop a drive of the Bears at the 37-yard line. There's a timeout on the field. This is the Packer Radio Network.
Drill half-inch holes with your 3/8-inch drill. Go to your nearby True Value hardware stores and buy the True Test Twist Drill Set. 15 long, high-speed bits, sized from 1/16 to 1/2 inch. 2 are over 3/8 of an inch in diameter, and yet have shanks that fit your present 3/8-inch power drill. This set of True Test Twist Drill Bits from your True Value hardware store comes in a sturdy metal case with a flip-up index. This True Test Drill Bit set lets you drill half-inch holes without buying a new expensive half-inch drill. Get the True Test 15-piece Twist Drill Bit set for just $16.50 at participating True Value hardware stores.
True Value Hardware is more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that means True Value.
Now the Packers get a break and get the football back at their own 37-yard line on the fumble recovery by Johnny Gray. 12:37 to go, second quarter. And it is 10-3 in favor of the Chicago Bears. Here at Lambeau Field, I think the snow has stopped. Probably it'll get cloudy now, and it won't snow. It was snowing out of a clear sky. How does that happen, Bob?
Well, I think it's really maybe the Chicago Bears, it's those cosmic rays. Do you remember in the beginning of the season, all the offensive linemen, they'd get out in the middle of the field, and it was the cosmic rays. That was the reason for their success.
Oh, maybe they brought it with them. I didn't know they took it on the road, but I guess you're right. First down, Packers. Ollie Smith goes in motion to the left side. Packers driving to our right this time. Hand off to Eric Torkelson. Looks for a hole, and he got it to the 39 for a pickup of 2 yards. Second down, 8 yards to go. Was that your major in college? Meteorology?
Oh, I'd rather not say anything. I changed majors several times.
I'm not going to ask you what the major was finally at all. Wouldn't want to ask that. Football, I think, was one of them.
No, that was basketball.
Basketball, you're right.
That's probably the greatest touch.
Did Wichita State play this week?
No, they didn't play. They didn't lose either.
Okay. At the 39, second down, 8 yards to go. The Packers in possession, trailing 10-3. Carlos is going to throw as the sun comes out. Carlos throwing a fly pattern down here for Ollie Smith. He caught it at the 23-yard line. Ollie looked up at the right time. And again, the defender that time, who happened to be Doug Plank, didn't know where the ball was. Ollie found it and came back nicely to catch the ball at the 23-yard line of Chicago.
A beautiful fly pattern on the right-hand side, as you said, Jim, to Ollie Smith. And that ball was perfectly thrown by Carlos Brown. He threw a couple fly patterns last week against the Minnesota Vikings. As you remember, one was to the inside, but he threw that ball perfectly. This time to the outside shoulder of the receiver, and as a result, away from the defensive halfback. Ollie made a nice catch in that ball, turning around for the reception.
And he came back to the ball just a little bit underthrown, but it worked just as well at the 23-yard line. It is 38 yards on the pass completion, first of the afternoon for Carlos Brown. First down, Green Bay. Carlos dropped the ball, and he has to fall on top of it at the 23-yard line. Fortunately for him, it fell right in an opening, and nobody there to keep Carlos Brown from falling on it. Unfortunately, had a play called up the middle, Bob, there would have been a heck of a hole to run in.
Sure was. A lot of the defensive linemen were following the pulling guards. I believe the play was to go left on a sweep, but we're very fortunate to get that ball back.
At the 23-yard line, second down, 10 yards to go again for the first down. Ollie Smith right, Kenny Payne to the left side. 10:47 to go, first half of the game. 10-3 Bears. Here's play action. Back to pass Carlos. Firing it over the middle and incomplete. Threw it behind Ollie Smith. The Packers had a crossing pattern. Smith coming from the right side and Kenny Payne from the left. And I believe both of those people were inside the defenders, but the ball was behind Ollie Smith.
As you said, Jim, Carlos Brown had an awful lot of time that time to throw the ball. It was a very poorly thrown ball behind the receivers. Both receivers were running a crossing pattern, a square into Ollie Smith from the right-hand side. It was thrown behind him.
All right, it's going to be 3rd and 10, and if they don't get it here, they're going to have to go to Chester Markle. Atlanta 7, Houston 3. Scott Hunter threw a touchdown pass. He is hot. Here's Carlos setting up the screen. Off on the left side to John Brockington, and he threw that one badly, and John couldn't grab it. Well, Carlos is not throwing the ball well here in the first half of the game. John Brockington had to leap and try to catch that ball one-handed, but he simply could not do it. And now the Packers will have to call on Chester Marco, and this time it will be a 41-yard effort. He already has a 44-yarder. 10-3 the score. Chester will try it from the 31-yard. Carlos Brand to hold it from the 31. Waiting goes the ball, up goes the kick. Plenty long enough, but it is going to whirl off to the left side. It caught, hooked, and went to the left side, and Packers failed to score. The Bears will take over at the 23-yard line with a first down, and Bob, it hurts to lose that opportunity.
Yes, it does, Jim. We needed a score there with 10 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the second quarter. I was pleased with that fly pattern that Carlos threw, throwing it to the outside shoulder receiver, but then obviously he's having some trouble, as he showed on that screen, and those square ends to our receivers. He's having a little trouble adjusting to the cold weather.
You know, in Packerland, more and more people are switching to John Deere snowmobiles because out on the snow, nothing runs like a Deere. 10 minutes, 29 seconds remaining to be played in this football game. In the second quarter, 10-3. The Chicago Bears leading the Green Bay Packers. Packers have 2 games remaining after this. Next week against the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota, and the following week down in Atlanta, where Bob Long will conduct personally conducted tours for anybody who wants to. When are you going down? Tomorrow for that trip?
I'm going down a month early for that game, and I'll have everything ready for you when you come down there. That's quite a city, Atlanta, Georgia. As you know, Jim, it's quite a progressive city, and they have that new Omni International, some of those new hotels down there, and those Southern people. We have the hush puppies and greens, Swithered turnip greens all ready for you, and catfish and grits, right?
Don't forget the grits, black-eyed peas. I'm familiar with all those things. Anyway, that'll be 2 weeks from today on December 12th down in Atlanta, Georgia. One of your Packer broadcast sponsors is True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it is their way of doing business. So the Bears take over at the 24-yard line of Green Bay. Remember, that's where the ball was snapped from. If it is outside the 20 and you miss, then the opposing team gets it from that point. And the Bears take over at the 24. 2 running backs, Payton and Harper, split behind Avellini. Gives it to Walter Payton, trying to sweep to the left side. Perry Smith came up, tried to force the play, and Walter Payton is run out at the 27-yard line after a pickup of 3 yards on the play. Perry Smith did a good job of forcing the play to the sidelines, and Walter just ran out of running room. So he picks up 3, and it'll be a second down and 7 yards to go for the first down for the Chicago Bears. The Packers have yet to stop the Chicago Bears totally on their rushing game today. And at this point, the Bears have 82 yards rushing in the ball game. Far too much. They average about 160 yards a game, however. Scott and Schubert split to the right side with Schubert the slot man and outside him. On a 2nd and 7, handoff goes to Roland Harper. He tries to sweep, broke a tackle, and got 3 more. Out to the 30-yard line, Don Hampson is the man who had him around the ankles, and Gary Weaver came up to help out. Now the Bears come to a 3rd down and 4 yards to go for the first down from the 30-yard line. The Packers have a chance to stop them here. Brian Baschnagel brings the play in from Jack Fardy on the sideline. 10-3 with 10 minutes left to go here in the second quarter in case you just joined us. Baschnagel left. Scott right. Greg Latta, the tight end, is tight to the right side. And the crowd are helping the Packers. Avellini back to pass. Avellini throws. Avellini has it dropped out there by Greg Latta. He was covered by Steve Luke. Greg Latta was out there and had the ball hit him in the hands that he couldn't hold on, and Steve Luke was right on top of the play.
That's right, Jim. Greg Latta running the turn in from his tight end position, and I think you saw him, it was either the cold weather, or also he looked like he was looking over his shoulder looking for Luke on that play, but that was a big play for the Pack. It kept them from getting a first down, and see if we can get this ball back and get a score.
Bob Parsons, who's averaging 38 yards a kick, will have his first punt of the afternoon. That's the first pass that the Bears have missed. The Packers coming after it, almost blocked it. Parsons gets it up high. Fair catch called by Johnny Gray at the 35-yard line. So the Packers get good field position, but they put on a heck of a charge after that ball. Among those who were going after it, Bert Aspen, Steve Wagner, and Bob Barber, and they came very close.
They sure did, Jim. Now, it's very important for the Packers to establish a running game. We have not established any kind of a running game yet today. And in order to make our passing game good and go better than it has, we've got to start making some yardage on the ground and get to those 3rd and 2 situations or 2nd and 5 to keep the defense off balance.
Well, that's what the Bears have been doing in the first half, and they lead 10-3. Brockington and Torkelson, the running backs from the 36-yard line, their own. For Green Bay, here's Carlos Brown on the sweep, gives to Eric Torkelson, cut it up at the right time, 40. Out to the 43, 44-yard line. So Eric Torkelson sweeping to the left instead of taking it all the way outside, cut it back inside, and then got out to the 44 where Ron Rydolph made the tackle for the Chicago Bears. But that's what you were talking about, wasn't it?
That's exactly right. We had the slot formation left. That was great individual effort by Eric Torkelson. He made a lot of those yards on his own. If he'd have had a couple better blocks by the receivers downfield, he might have got a lot more yardage.
Second down and about 2 yards to go for the first down for Green Bay from 44-yard line, their own. Will Harrell has come in. Eric Torkelson has gone out. Carlos Brown calling the signals. Carlos gives it off to John Brockington. Driving for the first down. Gets it out across the 40. He may be shy of the first down. We'll let them look at it and then let you know. But while we do that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packer Radio Network.
This is WTMJ Milwaukee, where there are winners every hour from 9 until 3 in the Winners Club. Say the secret word and win.
Well, there is no need for a measurement. It's a first down for the Packers. John got it for Green Bay, so he picked up 2 yards on the play. John 3 carries for 9 yards. Torkelson 4 for 11. Harrell 1 for a loss of 2. And Carlos 1 carry for 21 yards. At the 46-yard line, the Packers have the ball with the first down, and Ollie Smith goes in motion to the left side. Carlos Brown, the quarterback, hands to Torkelson. He sweeps again, but this time he's hit at the line of scrimmage. I think somebody might have got a face mask right there because the flag went down immediately at the 46-yard line. And we'll watch and see. That's usually where you get that kind of a call unless somebody was grabbing and holding. Watch the officials see. No, I think the Packers are going to retreat. They're going back from the 46-yard line. Clip Green Bay. A clipping call against the Packers. The way Eric went down, I thought maybe somebody had a hold of the face mask. But that's why you ought to wait and let somebody tell you rather than get it.
Jim, I think that was a clipping call from the wide receiver who was coming back and, as you know...
Crackback, huh?
Crackback, right.
Crackback, I don't know, whatever it was that I wanted to say there.
Right, they changed that rule this last year. As most of our fans know, you have to block above the waist. And that's to protect against so many injuries that were caused by a receiver coming back from the blind side.
And that's Ollie Smith who gets the call, and it's a 15-yarder, so it becomes 1st and 25. That's the biggest penalty you can get in football now, that 15-yarder on that clipping call. First down for Green Bay. Hand off to John Brockington up there. No, that's Will Harrell, and he's across the 40, out to the 42 or 3-yard line, but they had blown the ball dead. He lost it after that, and it was recovered by the Bears, but quickly the official said, no, he was down at the 42-yard line. So a pickup on the play and gets some of that yardage back for the Packers out to the 42-yard line. And it will now become a second down. And how many yards to go for the first down? He's got to get it down to the 44, and he is at the 42. So that's 8 and 6 or 14. Second and 14, so it's a pickup of 11 yards on the rush by Will Harrell. 42. Second down. 14 yards to go as Carlos Brown has the team at the line of scrimmage on the second down. Handoff goes to Eric Torkelson. He tries to sweep left, and he gets down only to the 43-yard line for a pickup of 1. Ron Rydolph made the tackle. Carlos seems a little reluctant to put the ball in the air right now. I think Carlos, but the plays are coming in from the sideline.
Well, you're right, Jim. We haven't established that running game, and as a result, we're not having the effectiveness that we would like. And in the last 2 pass plays, as you pointed out, the passes were poorly thrown on that screen and that square end. So, but this is a situation right there. They're going to have to go to the air here with 12 yards to go for the first.
Third down, 12 yards to go for the first down for Green Bay. Split to the right side. Will Harrell is the slot man over here on the right side. And here, back to pass is Carlos Brown. Good protection. Fires. Going for Ollie Smith. He caught it. He's on his feet. 25, 20, 15 to the 10, and down he goes. Inside the 10-yard line to the 9-yard line, and that's a good thrown ball right there.
Jim, that was a super play, and you've got to give Carlos all the credit in the world. It was a great, great rush. He only had one man, John Brockington, back in the backfield blocking for him. He was under a heavy rush, barely got the ball away. He held to the last minute, and Ollie Smith, Jim, ran what they call a zig out or a flag pattern from the left-hand side. He went down, made a good move to the post, back to the flag, and the ball was there.
First and goal at the 9-yard line for the Chicago Bears, and the Packers overcame a 15-yard penalty on that particular series, and that's very big for them. So first and goal at the 9-yard line. The running back, Will Harrell, and John Brockington. Ollie Smith, spot man right. Ollie's had a big day so far. Kenny Payne is split out wide right. Handoff goes to John Brockington. They lost the ball. Fumble recovered by the Chicago Bears. John never got the handle on it, and the Bears take over at the 7-yard line, and that is the second missed opportunity this quarter by the Packers.
That really hurt, Jim. Going in from the 8-yard line after that great momentum and that great play, and it just didn't look like they just didn't have a good handle on the ball. Carlos kind of put it in John's stomach, and it might have went off his hip or whatever, but that really hurt the Packs. We needed some points in that position.
Well, they were going for the tying touchdown. Now the Bears get it at the 7-yard line. So the Packers have to do it all over again. That one really hurt.
Kind of reminiscent of Chicago, isn't it?
It sure. Got to get him back. So the Packers make the mistake. Avellini, the quarterback, from his own 7-yard line. Here's the handoff. Walter Payton sweeping to the right. Hanson drive through. Threw him off stride, and down he goes at the 6-yard line. Don Hanson made the play possible, but Clarence Williams knocked him down finally. Hanson threw him off stride, and he only got back to the line of scrimmage.
Correct. That was a sweep right to Payton, but Don Hanson made a great effort there. He was pursuing Payton from behind and threw him off his stride at the ankles, and Clarence came up to make the tackle.
Pursuing Payton is hard to say, isn't it?
Right.
Kind of like cracked back. That's hard to say, too. Second out, he lost a yard. 11 yards to go. And listen to this crowd as they are with the Green Bay Packer defensive unit right now. Two running backs again for the Chicago Bears. Payton is one. I believe Adamley has come in now. They give it to Mike Adamley. He's back at the 4. The 3 is going to be hit, brought down at the 4-yard line by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of the Green Bay Packers back at the 4-yard line. There's Clarence, Alden Roche getting off. Mike McCoy is getting up. Dave Roller is getting up, and who's down at the bottom? Johnny Gray. They'll give him the full forward progress to the 5-yard line and make it a 3rd down and almost 13 yards to go for Chicago.
I knew the running back was down there somewhere.
He was on the bottom of the pile. That's where he was. And Mike Adamley's not very big to begin with. Mike is 5'9", 198 pounds out of Northwestern. 3rd down and 13 for the Chicago Bears. The Packer fans really hooping it up right now. Walter Payton and Roland Harper, the running backs for Chicago. Avellini, the quarterback. Avellini's going to hand it off straight up the middle. It is Adamley running, and he got back to the line of scrimmage. And the Packer defensive unit did the job that time.
They sure did, Jim. They've been doing a job all year long, but it's tough to run on the Packers up through the middle. I'm surprised the Bears keep trying that because Minnesota had difficulty with Chuck Foreman running up the middle last week. Don Hanson, Jim, another great play. And, you know, Don from the University of Illinois, he's playing, and he knows this game is being televised back to the Chicago area, and maybe he's real proud to come up with a great effort here in this ball game.
Wonder if he's in line for the job as head coach at the University of Illinois. That might be interesting to ask. Back deep is Bob Parsons. He's got a kick from his own 5-yard line, and he's deep in the end zone. Gets a good snap from center. The Packers have a return on, and he got a low kick. Johnny Gray's going to get it to the 42. He's back to the 35, looking for running room. He's on his feet at the 30. He's inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. Oh, Bob Parsons hit a line drive, and Johnny Gray did the right thing. He got quick yardage straight up the middle first, and then he started hunting for running room.
Right, Jim. I think they had the return up the middle on that play. He had a little room. He kind of hesitated a little bit, wanted to go to the outside, and came back to the middle where he should have been in the beginning. And we're in great field position, and we can't keep giving up these opportunities. We've got to put some points on the board.
But what he did do first was get the 7 or 8 yards that were available to him right quick up the middle. Then he started looking, and that way he wasn't going to lose what was there. Dave Osborne is in at a running back along with Eric Torkelson. John Brockington is out. First down from the 27-yard line. Ollie Smith in motion to the right side now. He stops and sets up. Now comes in motion back to the left. Here's the fake handoff. Carlos Brown back to pass. Nobody there. Threw it, and he threw it to Rich McGeorge, who was all alone at the 10-yard line. Rich had cleared the linebacker out there, and he had a safety. Virgil Ivers, the quarterback, who was with him, but Rich was open, and the ball was poorly thrown again.
Yes, he was. Rich ran a square out to the outside, actually to the flag from his tight end position, and the ball was thrown behind him. He had to turn around, almost made a great catch.
Second down and 10 from the 27-yard line. Boy, the Packers have had enough opportunities, haven't they, here in this quarter? But they still trail 10-3. Kenny Payne right, Ollie Smith, a spot man to the right side for the Green Bay Packers. Here's the handoff to Will Harrell, tries to cut it upside on the sweep to the 25, flag thrown, and he's down to the 20. A flag is thrown, and he went down the 20-yard line. But let's see what the flag is going to be called for at the 27-yard line. And it might be holding. It is holding against Green Bay. Another big penalty that hurt. Well, Will Harold had gotten 7 yards on the sweep down to the 20-yard line, but that'll all be taken away. And holding against the Packers from the 27 will move it back 10 to the 37 and make it a very difficult second down and 20 yards to go for the first down. That's what hurts you when you miss that first pass with a man open.
Sure is, Jim. I think when Bart and the staff sit down and evaluate the season for the Packers, I think that's going to be the one glaring thing that's so obvious to everybody, including many of our fans who have watched it. Have been those mental errors. When I say mental errors, those are penalties, fumbles, etc. These are things that have hurt us all year.
Bruce Van Dyke guilty of the holding call against the Packers. It is actually 2nd and 19 from the 36. Back to pass is Carlos Brown. Steps up in the pocket, fires under pressure, and underthrew as he had a man coming over the middle, Kenny Payne, and he either overthrew him or underthrew Ollie Smith, who was running deep patterns down on the near side of the field. So it's going to be 3rd down and 19 or 20 yards to go for the first down for the Packers. They'll put it down this time at the third. Well, they lost another yard. They put it at the 38 this time. That ball has been moved from the 36 to the 38 on one play. So it's going to be 3rd down and 21.
3rd and 19.
I don't care what you say, Gary Knappel. It's 3rd and 21 at the 38-yard line. One lone running back, Dave Osborne. Spot man up to the left side is Will Harrell for the Green Bay Packers. Here's Carlos back to pass again. He's firing at a fly pattern down the middle to Ollie Smith, and it's intercepted by the Chicago Bears. Doug Blank picked it up, and he is down at the 2-yard line. And Ollie, that ball just kind of floated up there, did all kinds of flip-flops. And Alan Ellis is the man who picked it off for the Chicago Bears. Ollie Smith really couldn't get to it. There were 2 men there.
Right, Jim. That was probably Carlos's the pass that he's most poorly thrown all day long. It was a fly pattern, but it should not have been thrown at all. There were 2 defensive backs playing there. The free safety came across there to help out with the cornerback, and it was just badly thrown.
Well, the Packers missed another opportunity, but the Bears take over at the 3-yard line, and now defensively, the Packers trying to charge up.
Dave Roller's ready.
Yeah, you can see him jumping up and down. Everybody on that front 4 of the Packers, look at him. I haven't seen that kind of enthusiasm. I don't know whether they're cold or what they're trying to do. Maybe that's misplaced enthusiasm. First down at the 3-yard line, Chicago Bears. Payton and Harper is the running backs for Chicago on this first down play. Here's Avellini. He's going to throw on it. Back in the end zone, being chased. Almost tackled, still running. He's out to the 5, and now he's going to get wise and go towards the out-of-bounds marker at the 9-yard line. Well, he was standing back there for a long time, and Mike McCoy had a shot at him, but he got away from Mike, and he ran it out to the 9. Willie Buchanan finally made the tackle.
That was really surprising, Jim, to pass in that situation and in this type of day. But he did have a lot of time, just stood back there, and then finally decided to run to the right-hand side.
I think the Packers just were totally geared for the run that time and not for the pass.
Exactly.
Bob Barber is in and Clarence Williams is out for Green Bay. Second down and 4 yards to go. We're at 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go before halftime. The Bears leading 10-3. And the Bears a long time in the huddle, but they still have 14 seconds to snap the ball in play. Packer crowd wants the Packers to stop them right here. Adamley is in along with Walter Payton for Chicago. Bears have gone away from Payton a little bit. Now they go back to him, and Walter hits to the 9, and that's all. Dave Roller has him, but he slid through Dave and gets out to about the 12. He is close to a first down, but I don't think he got it. Mike McCoy made the tackle. Walter just kind of dived under Dave Roller that time and went right on past him. They're going to bring the 6 out and take a measurement. The clock stopped with 2:42 to go before the halftime gets here. Who are you going to have at halftime?
I'm going to have one of the great linebackers in the history of the National Football League who...
B. Roy Caffey.
Well, this gentleman is from Chicago. He's a good friend of mine, Doug Buffone. He kind of, Jim, played in the shadow of Dick Butkus for many, many years, but he's probably one of the most popular players who ever played in Chicago. He got hurt this earlier in the season with a torn Achilles tendon, and he's going to be my guest at halftime talking about the Bears, and he's also the captain of the Bears. I'm going to get some ideas on how the management squabble between the players and the management is going on.
Well, I said Leroy Caffey because he's one of my all-time favorite players, the Watermelon King from Texas. Maybe we'll hear from him. First down, Bears at the 13. Pitch goes to Walter Payton, trying to sweep to the right side, cuts it into the 15, to the 16, He was down, but he got up and ran some more, and they may give him full forward progress. Freddie Carr is irritated, and I don't blame him, because Walter appeared to be down at the 16-yard line. They're going to give him full forward progress out to the 19. The only reason he didn't touch the ground is because he was falling on top of other people. He should have been down. Bob Barber made the tackle. It is at the 18-yard line. 2-minute warning is here. Let's take time out. The Packers trail at 10-3 to the Chicago Bears. This is the Green Bay Packer Radio Network.
Everyone's looking to find what's best in the things they do and the music they hear.
I'll go along with that.
It's on the calendar, Pabst Blue Ribbon, if you're looking for a quality beer.
All right. What's the Pabst Challenge?
Compare our beer with any other. Try it once and you'll discover the best beer taste will bring it home to you. With Pabst Blue Ribbon, the quality always comes through.
You know something? That Pabst is really a great tasting beer.
Compare our beer with any other. Try it once and you'll discover the best beer taste will bring it home to you. With Pabst Blue Ribbon, the quality always comes through. With Pabst Blue Ribbon, the quality always comes through.
Pabst, since 1844.
Quality always comes through. The quality always comes through. The quality always comes through.
There are 2 minutes remaining here in the first half of the ball game. The Bears leading at 10-3, and the Bears will have a second down and 4 yards to go for the first down from the 18-yard line their own. And for Peyton today, 18 carries, 70 yards already in the first half of the ball game. The Bears have thrown it only 4 times. Avellini is 3 out of 4 for 67 yards, 1 touchdown. He's been sacked 1 time. But the Bears have run it 24, 27, 28 times here in the first half. The Packers have run it 9, 11, 12 times and passed 9 times. Carlos Brown has hit just 2 out of 9, and he has had 1 intercepted so far this afternoon. The Packers have had many opportunities here in the second quarter. 3 times they've had chances to score, and they did not score on any of them. And they trail 10-3. Right now, the Bears have a second and 4, 2 minutes remaining, and 3 timeouts remaining for the Green Bay Packers, 2 for the Bears. And they'll go with a second down and 4 from the 18-yard line, but they were back at the 3. Peyton and Mike Adamley, the running backs for Chicago on this series. With 2 minutes to go, Avellini gives it off to Adamley. He hits the 20, spun away, and he's very close to a first down out to the 24-yard line. Adamley was hit at the line of scrimmage and got away. With 11 minutes remaining in the game, in the fourth quarter, Cleveland 14, Miami 13. The Giants 21, Seattle 9 in the third quarter. New England 31, Denver 7 in the third quarter. Washington 24, Philadelphia nothing at the end of 3. Baltimore 20, the New York Jets 9 in the second quarter, and Houston 10, Atlanta 7 in the second quarter of that game. First down, the Bears at the 24-yard line, and the clock running at about 25 to go here in the first half. 2 running backs for Chicago. This time it is Adamley and Walter Payton again. Give it off to Walter, trying to get to the outside. He turns inside a hole. A flag is thrown. Walter 35 and pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Walter Payton pushed out at the 40-yard line by Johnny Gray, but there was a flag on the play. And now one of the Bears, Noah Jackson, picks it up and says, "Here's your flag." Now he didn't want to give it to him. No, he says, "No, it's not mine. It belongs to somebody else." So Noah's going to find out which official it is, and he gives it to him. And the penalty will go against the Chicago Bears. That was nice of Noah.
It sure was. I think he's trying to make friends with his officials. It'll be interesting to see who that penalty was on. The trouble is, Jim, they're getting their penalties when they're coming out of their own end zone on their own 20-yard line. We've been getting all our penalties when we've been going in to score.
All right, so that's going to be against the Bears, and it'll move the ball back to the 14-yard line. Holding against the Bears. Number 62 for Chicago, who is Dan Jiggett. So it was Noah Jackson. He didn't have to make up for anything on that.
Jim, how do you like those names of those offensive linemen for the Bears? That's quite a group.
Yeah, they're a good group, too. At the 14-yard line, first and 20 for Chicago with about 12 to go, and the Packers may use some timeouts here now. Avellini is calling the signal. Avellini, a long time, finally hands it off to Walter Payton, slips inside and gets across the 15 to about the 17-yard line before he is stopped there. It'll be a second down and 7 yards to go. And the Packers are not going to stop the clock with 59 seconds to go. Now somebody has stopped it. Who stopped it here?
5, 5, 5, 6.
Johnny Gray calls the timeout as the Packers stop it with 59 seconds remaining before halftime. You know, Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer is very happy to be one of your 1976 Packer broadcast sponsors. The quality of Pabst Blue Ribbon has always come through since 1844. 59 seconds remaining. The Bears have the ball, second down, and 17 yards to go for the first down. Bob, again, it scares you every time they give the ball to Walter Payton because you know what he can do.
Sure does, Jim. You know, talking about Walter Payton, and everybody's been talking about him around the league and the great year he's having. They're trying to compare him to Gale Sayers and, of course, the great O.J. Simpson. But, you know, looking and watching him run and having seen him about 3 or 4 times this year, I don't think he really has the lateral movement, the great lateral movement that maybe a Gale Sayers and O.J. Simpson has. However, he has that great strength and that acceleration. If I were to compare, I watched Tony Dorsett, of course, the other night against Pitt in the Pitt and Penn State game, and I would compare Dorsett a little bit with Payton rather than maybe an O.J. Simpson or a Gale Sayers.
All right, 59 seconds to go. The Packers have 2 timeouts remaining, so do the Bears. So there is some time left, but the Packers want to see if they can get one more chance with that football. Johnny Gray, playing safety, is going to drop back to about the 30-yard line, almost in a prevent defense, as the Bears come to the line of scrimmage. Adam Lee and Walter Payton are the running backs, and they have used Walter Payton 19 times already here in the first half. He has been the workhorse out of the I formation. For Chicago, Avellini gives it off to Payton, lost the football. Who got it? The Packers got it at the 16-yard line. Still with 56 seconds to go. That timeout that Johnny Gray pays off right there.
Sure did, Jim, and that's the reason they call that timeout. We get another big break, and we've got to put some points on the board right here because we have been getting the breaks all day long. We've had that ball down in Bear territory, and let's just hope that with 56 seconds we can get off about 4 or 5 good plays and get that ball in the end zone.
Dave Purifoy is the man unofficially who recovered the ball. It's at the 16-yard line. The Packers' 4th opportunity to score here in the second quarter. Their 4th opportunity. You just can't continue not to score. Osborne and Torkelson are the running backs. In motion is Ollie Smith to the right side. Calling the play is Carlos Brown. Carlos on a handoff to Eric Torkelson, sweeping left. Eric is inside the 15 down to about the 13-yard line. We're at 49 seconds. The Packers are hurrying, and I don't believe they're going to use the timeout right here as into the ball game comes Will Harrell. Down to 40 seconds. They just now go into the huddle. Clock is running. It's down to 37 seconds. Second down, 7 yards to go. The Packers do have 2 timeouts remaining. At the line of scrimmage, Carlos Brown with 30 seconds. That's his team. Carlos looking over the situation. Long time at the line of scrimmage. He's back to pass on second down. Carlos throwing for the end zone. There's Kenny Payne, and he underthrew him. Oh! Kenny Payne was wide open. And Carlos Brown underthrew it.
Sure did, Jim. We had Ollie Smith running a short route to the right-hand side. We brought the linebacker out watching Ollie Smith and also the safety. That time Kenny Payne ran another post pattern and took it back to the flag. In the end zone, he was all by himself, and the ball was just thrown short.
The halftime show, Bob, has been canceled because the Green Bay West musical instruments have frozen up. It is going to be 3rd and 7, 20 seconds remaining. The Packers still with 2 timeouts, but they got to connect here or they'll have to go for the field goal. Here's Carlos Brown back to pass. Carlos Chase out of the pocket. Rolling right. Still rolling. Fires on the run to Rich McGeorge. He drops it. Oh! But it's had it in the end zone for a touchdown, and he tried to reach back, and it was right there on his fingertips, and he couldn't hold it.
That's right, Jim. Carlos was scrambling to the right-hand side. It looked like he may have had some room to run into the end zone. Some of the fans are trying to urge him to run into the end zone, but he made the wise choice. Rich came open right in front of the goalpost. The ball was a little bit behind him, but he should have had that ball for a score.
Should have caught the football. No question about that. Packers have to go for the field goal. Chester will try a 31-yarder. He is now 8 out of 14 so far this year. He kicked a 44-yarder, missed a 41-yarder so far today. 13 seconds remaining. The Packers have not been able to cash in. Waiting for the snap. Brown to hold. Down goes the ball. Up goes the kick. This one plenty long enough. He missed again. Carlos Brown holding. Chester hooked it off to the left 4 times. The Packers had opportunities here, and 4 times they have failed in the second quarter, and you're just not going to get that many opportunities.
Jim, our defense can't do it all. They've given us that ball back time after time after time, but they can't score unless they intercept it and take it in themselves. And as you said, we've had so many opportunities, drop passes. It seems like we're breaking down on every play. It's either a drop pass or a ball thrown short or another reason, and we've just got to start putting some more points up there.
So the Bears, with 10 seconds, take over the football at the 20-yard line with a first down. They're probably just going to run out the clock. Packers had 2 timeouts remaining, but they missed a pass to Kenny Payne, open in the end zone, and Rich McGeorge dropped one that should have been a touchdown. And the Packers still trail 10-3. Here's Avellini. He'll just fall on top of the ball, and down he goes, and that'll be the end of the first half. The Bears walk off. Fortunately for them, they're in front 10-3. They could easily be behind by several points, but they are not. That's why you got to play the game. So at the end of the first half, the score: the Chicago Bears 10, the Green Bay Packers 3. Timeout. This is the Green Bay Packer Radio Network. Kane and Carlos Brown 1 for 21 yards in the first half. The Bears will kick off. The Packers will receive. The sun is out. It is cold, and the Packers have to get back in this ball game and cash in on opportunities. Low kick goes past Mike McCoy. It's being picked up by Mike Charles McCoy. Back to the 30, trying to get to the outside, slips and goes down at the 33-yard line. So the Packers get decent field position to start. Brian Bashnagel there to touch Mike Charles McCoy when he went down at the 33-yard line. First down for the Green Bay Packers, and Bob, you cannot pass up any opportunities anymore. 4 is more than you're going to get a chance to in most games.
That's right, Jim. That was the story of the first half. Number 1, we didn't establish a running game. Number 2, we didn't take advantage of all those opportunities.
First down for the Packers at the 33-yard line. Let's see if Carlos Brown can get his arm on track. He did not throw well in the first half of the game. Here's Carlos. Handoff goes to John Brockington. Hits hard out to the 34, 35-yard line for a pickup of 2. It'll be second down and 8 yards to go. I was just wondering if Carlos continues to have trouble throwing, how soon it might be before the Packers go to Randy Johnson.
Well, Randy Johnson is always ready. He's been one of the great backup quarterbacks. Some of these guys hang around for many years, but Randy's been up here now a week, Jim. He probably has a little better knowledge of the offense, so you might see Bart go to him a little sooner than he would have last week.
Second down. 8 yards to go after the 2-yard gain by John Brockington. Here's Carlos Brown back to pass. Carlos firing out to the right sidelines. It is caught by Ollie Smith. The defender fell down, and Ollie goes out of bounds at the 49 of the Chicago Bears. The defender, Allen Ellis, fell down over there, and I don't think Ollie realized it quite quickly enough. Allen got up quickly and pushed him out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
That was a square out by Ollie Brown, or Ollie Smith. He's been having some great patterns today. As you mentioned, Jim, the defender, Ellis, fell down on that play. Ollie didn't realize it, but then again, he had to look back into the sun on that square out, so it was a nice pattern and a nice catch.
Well, all 3 passes completed by the Packers today have gone to Ollie Smith. So it's a first down at the Bear 49-yard line. Now you got to get some finishing touches to these drives. Here's Carlos. He hands it off. Derek Torkelson sweeping to the left side, hit from behind the line of scrimmage by Jim Osborne, thrown off stride, and he's felled at about the 49-yard line. So no gain on the play. Second down and 10 yards to go. Good play by Jim Osborne.
Yes, great penetration across the line of scrimmage and pursued Torkelson on that play. I mentioned Ollie Brown before. I believe he's the baseball player.
Yeah, he's got a good arm, too. Ollie Brown has. Plays with the Philadelphia Phillies. Second down, 10 yards to go for the Packers. We're in the third quarter. The Bears are leading at 10-3. Kenny Payne and Ollie Smith both split to the right side. Running backs this time, but Brockington Harrell. Back to pass is Carlos Brown. A lot of time, square out again, and Ollie Smith caught it. Oh, he caught a beautiful catch over on the sidelines. Oh, it's Kenny Payne. Kenny Payne. Oh, he didn't see the ball until the last second, then had to reach his hands down quickly below the waist and managed to hold on.
Another square out against Ellis on that right-hand side. That ball was thrown pretty low to the ground. A great catch by Kenny, looking again back into that sun, but they're picking on Ellis on those square outs to the outside.
That's at the 37-yard line. The Packer receivers have been open all day, but Carlos Brown hasn't gotten the ball to them. Now in this third quarter, at least on 2 passes, he has completed them. So it's going to be first down at the Bear 37-yard line. And the crowd getting charged up by the Packer drive here. And Carlos Brown is confused. He wants a timeout. Timeout. This is the Packer Radio Network.
Who's the largest group of insurance professionals in the country? Sorry, guess again. No, it's the independent insurance agents in America. That's right. Your independent insurance agents are the biggest group of insurance pros in the United States. And in Wisconsin, they're number one as well. 2,200 independent insurance agents in Wisconsin, representing hundreds of the biggest and finest insurance companies in the world, serve you first. Is being the biggest important? No matter where you live in Wisconsin, the agent who displays the big I symbol is near you.
Better tomorrows, we're on our way to a better tomorrow.
They're number one because they're where you are. Your independent insurance agent.
Well, apparently something was confused on the part of the Green Bay Packers as they came to the line of scrimmage. So Carlos Brown, with the first down, decided to take a timeout. It's at the 36-yard line of the Chicago Bears' first down. And we just heard public address announcer Gary Knaffel ask if there was a telephone repairman who could report to the Bear bench. So apparently the Bears are having trouble with their telephones.
That's part of the game, Jim. Cut off their telephones, take away their heaters. I mean, they did it to us. Remember in Detroit one day when they turned on the sprinklers?
Pay your telephone bill over there, folks, and you won't have that problem. First down at the 36-yard line. Carlos Brown, the quarterback. In motion, Ollie Smith to the right side. Here's the fake handoff. Play action by Carlos Brown. Looking. He's going to run with the ball. Tries to get to the outside. He's at the 35. Tackle from behind and brought down to the 34. Jim Osborne made a heck of a tackle, or Carlos would have had some yardage. And now Carlos and Jim Osborne are getting into it. Carlos on the ground didn't like it that Osborne wasn't letting him up. And Carlos, normally a very quiet-mannered young man, got upset by the whole thing.
Certainly did. It's tough to fight when you're flat on your back like that, though. Osborne was looking down on top of him, and Carlos was having a few words with him. He was looking that time again, I believe, for Ollie Smith coming out of his motion position. Couldn't find him, had a little bit of a rush, and rolled to his left-hand side.
Well, Carlos had some running room in front of him, 4 or 5 more yards if he hadn't been caught from behind by Osborne. As it was, he picked up 2. Second down and 8 from the 35-yard line. Carlos Brown calling the signals again. Needs a big play right here. And the Bears might have been offside. John Brockington has a hole up the right side, and John is down to the 27-yard line. He's very close to a first down. The Bears appeared to be offside on the play, and the Packers might want to take the play because I think it's close to a first down. It is at the 27. Now, this is going to be a difficult decision for Green Bay. It could be second down and about 3, or it could be third down and just about inches to go for the first down. And the Bears will watch as the Packers talk it over with the officials. Up there is Gail Gillingham. He's got to make the decision. It would be third and 1, or it could be second down and about 3 to go. And I believe he's going to take the penalty and get that extra down out of the thing, which is a pretty good call. It goes down to the 34, so it is going to be third down and 3 yards, or second down and 3 yards to go for the first down, offside against the Chicago Bears.
The irony of that situation, that was our best running play of the day, Jim. A simple off-tackle play, good strength there by John Brockington, gaining about 7 yards.
So it'll be second down, 3 yards to go. 12 minutes, 32 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Bears are leading at 10-3. Ollie Smith left. Kenny Payne to the right side as he skips out there, trying to get those legs warmed up. Running back to Will Harrell and John Brockington. The Bears in tight on this particular play, expecting run. Carlos Brown hands it off to Brockington. He's trying to go to the weak side outside, and he's thrown back at the 34-yard line. John is thrown back at the 34 for a loss of 5 yards on the play by Mike Hartenstein, who made a good play as John went to the weak side, didn't have any blocking out in front of him, and he never got to the outside.
Tried to take it to the outside. I question whether he should have gone out that far, Jim. Hartenstein made a great move and a penetration across the line of scrimmage, and that hurt us again. We should have picked up that first down. We had a nice drive going there, moving in where we get a couple points, and now we're back to a 3rd and 9 situation.
So this is a frustrating second and third quarter for Green Bay. Now they have to hit one right here. Carlos Brown calling the plays. Carlos is back in the pocket. Got protection. Carlos throwing off to the left side to Torkelson. Kept away beautifully by Wayman Bryant, the linebacker on the left side. He had Eric Torkelson covered, and that ball was just about to go into Torkelson's hand when Bryant stuck a hand in there and tipped it away.
Wayman Bryant was the man they were scheduling to take Dick Butkus' place, Jim, for the Chicago Bears. They weren't real happy with him at a middle linebacker, but they have moved him to the outside, and he has been performing admirably for the Bears on the outside linebacker position.
Well, the fate of the ball game. The Packers had a 3rd and inches. Now they wind up on 4th down and 8, and they're going to go for the punt from the 35-yard line. Dave Beverly's going to kind of hang it in there and hope that he can pin the Bears back near their own goal line. Forrest Gregg has won again at Cleveland today. He's still very much in the playoff picture. He's 8-4 there. Here's Beverly going for the sidelines, and the ball is going to hit at about the 10-yard line. It goes down. It bounced off a Packer, and it bounced off a Bear. I would say that it's the Bears' ball because it hit the Packer man first. And the crowd's going to be disappointed. Jim Gueno's disappointed, but there isn't any doubt it hit a Packer man first.
You're right, Jim. Very good eyes. From our vantage point, we obviously saw that it did hit the Packer, and we just may be wrong right here.
Well, they're going to give it to the Chicago Bears, and believe me, at least it looked as if it hit the Packer man first. And when it does that, the Bears ought to be able to do anything they want to with the ball. Even if they lost it, it would still be their ball at that point. But that's not what they have ruled. They have given it to the Green Bay Packers. Well, they say it hit Bill Knox, but it may have hit him, but I would swear that it hit him after it hit a Green Bay Packer. Anyway, the Packers get it at the 12. Here's another opportunity. The fifth one in the last two quarters. Packers trail 10-3 from the Bear 12-yard line. First down. Carlos Brown, the quarterback, calling the signal. Let's see what Carlos has here. Off to John Brockings, trying to get to the outside. John back at the 12, down only to the 11-yard line. And Craig Clemens came out from a safety position and made a good tackle. Well, I've never seen a ball so difficult to get into the end zone. It's almost impossible.
On that sweep to the left there, Jim, we brought our flanker back in real tight. And as a result, the defensive cornerback and the safety came up real tight on the flanker. And that, I think we should have put him out there further to get some of those defensive backs away from that line of scrimmage.
Second down and 10. It's almost at the 12 again, so little gain on the play for Green Bay. Here's Carlos Brown looking quickly, firing to the end zone to Kenny Payne. Touchdown! Kenny caught it for a touchdown, and he goes to the act and throws the ball into the stands. Kenny Payne, the ball underthrown, and the defender did not know where it was, and that defender over there was Virgil Livers, but there is a flag on the play. There is a flag on the play. Hold everything. That might cost Kenny Payne $26. He threw the ball in. If it's against the Bears, and it is, it's a touchdown. Green Bay.
Jim, that was a big, big play. That was almost designed to be thrown short because Kenny took off like on a fly pattern, and the defensive cornerback turned his back to Carlos Brown. The ball was thrown short. Kenny was very alert and came back while the defensive cornerback went on looking for the ball. He came back in and almost trapped the ball, but he got the touchdown.
Well, that is the fourth one this year for Kenny Payne. I know the Bears are not going to be very happy with this Packer touchdown, but Packers had tried in vain for so long, it's about time they got a break for a touchdown.
He put on quite an act down there, too, didn't he?
I don't know what the penalty was. Did you find out, Tom, what the penalty was all about? Whatever it was, the Packers declined it. Now the Packers are going to try the extra point, but they're having a lot of trouble getting to the line of scrimmage to do it. And finally, the Bears got everything straightened away. Chicago is not going to be happy about this touchdown at all. Carlos will hold. Chester will try the point that would tie it up if he makes it with 10:55 to go here in the third quarter. Waiting for the snap from center. Down it goes. Up goes the kick, and it is good. It's tied 10-10. Timeout. This is the Packer Radio Network.
The best beer taste is what we bring to you. The Pabst Blue Ribbon, the quality always comes through.
You know when premium quality in beer began? Well, in this country, it dates from 1844, when Pabst started as the first of the great Milwaukee brewers. That was a big day for beer drinkers, because Pabst started brewing beer a new way, a premium way. You might say the Pabst people invented premium beer.
The quality always comes through.
Pabst quality is not something you just talk about. It's something you can taste. That's why Pabst challenges you to taste and compare Blue Ribbon to any other premium beer.
Compare our beer with any other. Try us once and you'll discover the best beer taste. We're bringing home to you.
You can taste the quality.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, the quality always comes through.
Pabst, since 1844.
Quality always comes through.
Well, now it is 10-10, and Bob, a heck of a football game so far today.
It really is, Jim. I'm glad we got a score there because we passed up a lot of those opportunities. But there was a situation of being aware of what's going on at the field at all times. Virgil Livers, the defensive cornerback, came up head-on-head with Kenny Payne in that position. and actually turned his back on the quarterback, Carlos Brown, figuring he could guard him to the inside, not having to worry about it.
Well, Kenny threw the ball into the stands. I don't think you're supposed to do that. Here's the kickoff. It is a low squibber. Bashnagel at the 10 to the 15 to the 20, up the middle to 25-30, outside on his feet all the way to the 37-yard line. Tripped up by Bob Barber of the Green Bay Packers, but the Bears get the best field position they've had since the first quarter, starting at their own 37-yard line. They dominated totally the first quarter. The Packers dominated the second quarter, although they didn't score, mainly because the Bears made some errors. But now the Bears start from the 37. We have a 10-10 tie with 10 minutes and 47 seconds to go here in the third quarter of the game. First down, Chicago. Running backs are Walter Payton and Roland Harper. They will start from the 37-yard line. Here is Avellini back to pass on first down. Swings it to Roland Harper, right side, 35 out to the 40 and out to the 43. Hit from behind by Mike McCoy and ridden down at the 43-yard line. But that is a pickup of about 5 yards on that play, maybe 6 by the Chicago Bears.
A simple swing pass to Harper coming out of the backfield on the right-hand side. He had 3 men out there running interference with him. We had a great play there by the linebacker, Gary Weaver, and also Mike McCoy in pursuit to make that play.
Well, Roland Harper has caught 24 passes already this year. He's been a good all-around back for Chicago. Second down, 4 yards to go at the 43-yard line. They're on for the Bears. Calling the plays is Bob Avellini. Avellini on the handoff to Walter Payton, trying to sweep right. Flag is thrown on the play. Payton is going to be pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line, but there was a flag thrown at the line of scrimmage. And the Bears are going to get called for holding, and things are not going well for the Bears right now.
No, things are changing around. A very great play there by Gary Weaver. He did exactly what that outside linebacker should do. He stood up the interference and played him head-on-head on a lateral type of movement, waiting for the pursuit to catch up and give him the help that he needed. So Gary's playing that play a little better, and they're not running quite so successfully to the right-hand side.
Well, they're going to mark the play off from the 43-yard line. It'll go back to about the 33, and will bring up a second down and 14 for the Chicago Bears. And they move it back to the 33-yard line. So the Packers, they are playing enthusiastic football today. They're getting a lot of help from the sidelines. The people on the sidelines are alive, too. But in fairness, it's better to be jumping up and down and clapping your hands than it is to be standing still. Dan Neal, the center, guilty of the hold. At the 33-yard line, first down, Chicago. James Scott splits to the right side, and Bashnagel left. Here's the handoff up the middle of Walter Payton. Spun through and hit, brought down at the 43-yard line. A good tackle by Steve Luke to stop him. I don't know how Walter Payton got through the initial charge at about the 36-yard line, but when he came out, he was the only one who was still standing, and Luke made a good play to stop him.
That was, as you said, Jim, was kind of interesting on that play. But then again, maybe we've made some changes. They were running to our outside in the first half of the ball game. We're having any success up the middle. Now we're stopping to the outside, and they're running up the inside.
3rd and 4. We'll give you some final scores in a moment. 3rd down, 4 yards to go into the lineup. Roland Harper and Walter Payton out of the I formation. Schubert is split to the right side as the slot man. Here's Avellini to throw. Fires it over here to Scott, and he dropped the ball at the 49. James Scott, with a quick out pattern, had a first down, and the ball was right in his hands. It's cold, and he dropped it.
Certainly is. On that quick turn out to the right-hand side, that ball was right in the chest, and maybe James is having a few problems. He shouldn't be wearing those gloves. That's something new, Jim, and it's come to the National Football League in the last 6 or 8 years. We weren't allowed to wear those gloves.
Well, they're kind of golf type, aren't they, Bob? They are not. They're skin-tight gloves that are much better than the wool cotton gloves we used to work in.
Like a handball glove, really.
Yes, all right. So it's going to be kicking time for Bob Parsons. Johnny Gray is back deep for the Packers. Here's Parsons with a good rush, and he gets away a line drive kick that bounces at the 25 to the 20 and goes dead at the 17-yard line. So there, the Packers will take over. We got a timeout. 9:06 remaining in the third quarter. It is Chicago 10, Green Bay 10. This is the Packer Radio Network.
One more shot, said the quarterback with seconds left to score. We're not far from the goal line. 2 feet, maybe more. It was 15 below zero on that fateful winter day, and Starr put it over. But Kramer cleared the way.
You know you need a strong partner if you're gonna get by. Because you need a strong partner. You need a guy like M&I.
For your personal financial needs, it's good to have a strong partner like M&I. Whether it's basic checking, savings, loans, or the many other services offered by your M&I banks, you can depend on that friendly, personal touch with every transaction.
You know you need a strong partner if you're gonna get by. Because you need a strong partner. You need a bank like Jim
Members FDIC.
The Packers take over at their own 17-yard line. The game tied 10-10. This is about the poorest field position the Packers have had this entire day, starting from the 17. Final score, Cleveland 17, Miami 13. New England 38, Denver 14, Washington 24, Philadelphia nothing. First down from the 17-yard line for Green Bay. Torkelson and John Brockington, the running backs for the Packers. They hand it off to John. John is out to the 20 and almost to 21 for a 3-yard gain. Don Reeves is the man who made the tackle. That is interesting. In that first game, Reeves made practically every tackle in the ball game. And here today, that's the first time we've heard his name at the middle linebacker spot.
Once again, that was that off-tackle play to the right-hand side in which we brought our flanker in, again, real tight, Jim, and it seems like we're almost giving that play away a little bit because, as you well know, you never get much blocking out of the flanker anyways.
I've seen some of them that don't block well. Second down 7. No names mentioned. Well, initials BL. T. Here's the handoff. It's Brockington. He hits it to 21 out to the 23-yard line. Good hard running by John for another pickup of 3 as he came to the near side of the field on a little short sweep. And the tackle made that time by Doug Plank, the safety. Don Calhoun of New England ran for 176 yards today on 26 carries, so he had a good day for the New England Patriots, who are also in the fight for a playoff spot. In fact, they're going to be there, I think, without any question. Third down, 4 yards to go for the first down. The Packers have to get it out to the 27-yard line. Here's Carlos Brown, draw up the middle to John Brockington. He didn't get it. He only got the 24-yard line. The Packers went with a draw, and the Bears played it well. Hartenstein and Ron Rideout both there to make the tackle, and Green Bay will have to punt the football.
That's right, Jim. I think they definitely smelled that play. They were watching for it on a third and 3 situation. It was ideal for the draw. They were watching for it. They're there now. We have 4th and 3, and have to punt that ball away.
Well, I'll give you a station break here in just a moment. The Packers are going to punt it. Dave Beverly for the third time today. He punted for 39 yards one time and 22 yards the other. But the other one was the most effective, that short one, because that's the one that led to the Packer touchdown as he tried to loop it inside the 10-yard line of the Bears. Beverly, good snap from center, and gets an end-over-end kick that's going to hit at midfield, but it takes a bounce and goes down into Bear territory, 40, down to the 37, down to the 36-yard line. So a pretty good kick. But we'll get a timeout on the field first, so let's take timeout. And this message on the Green Bay Packer Radio Network.
Say, buddy, did you know that some car dealers are only offering shorter, narrower, full-size cars this year?
Yes, but the Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula Ford dealers still give you a choice between a real full-size car, the LTD, and a solid new mid-size, the LTD2.
The Ford LTD is the full-size car that kept its size for 77. You see, a lot of people really like the extra room and trunk space of a big car. The longer wheelbase and wider stand smooth out the ride, while the solid road-hugging weight gives a real feeling of security on long trips.
And if you want a smaller car, look into Ford's new LTD2. It's trimmer in size and in price, and it combines LTD quality with a sporty spirit all its own.
Yet it still gives you 6-passenger room and convenience. Take a look at the mid-size LTD2 and the full-size LTD, now at Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula Ford dealers. See why they're so proud to say, that's us.
Well, we just heard a strange sound here. This crowd in unison all started yelling, "We want Roller," meaning Dave Roller, who is on the sideline right now, and Dave will be in there shortly. Dave made a lot of remarks, and the crowd wants to see him live up to those remarks, I think, more than anything else. First down for the Bears at their own 36-yard line. Game tied 10-10. 7 minutes, 3 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Out to the right side goes James Scott, and Brian Baschnagel is the slot man on the right side. Peyton and Harper, the running back for the Chicago Bears. Here's Avellini. Deep pitch goes to the right side. Peyton around the corner. 35-40. Running room in front of him. 45 and out of bounds at the 47. And he picked up 11 or 12 yards on that play. And Roland Harper Walter Payton is getting very close to 100 yards for the day already.
Certainly is, Jim. There was a different look that time. They weren't having much success with that sweep to the right-hand side. That time they went to the pitch out to get the ball out there a little bit quicker. That time they sealed in Gary Weaver, who had been doing such a great job in preventing that sweep, and they got the first down.
At the 47, a pickup of 11. He is up to 95 yards right now. And he's back in front of O.J. Simpson for the rushing title in the National Football League this year. First down, Avellini gives it off to Harper. Same play this time with Roland Harper running out to the 50-yard line and down to the 49. And he had Mike McCoy right there and Steve Luke, and there was a pretty good collision that went on. And down he went at the 49-yard line. So he picked up about 3 yards on the play. Second down, 7 to go for the Chicago Bears.
3 tough yards by Roland Harper. He came into this game as the blocking back, but he had gained 483 yards for the Chicago Bears, Jim, and that's not too bad for a guy who was drafted 17th.
I don't think I ever gave the station break, did I? I promised to do it after this next play. Second down, 7 yards to go for the Bears. Here's Avellini. Play action fake. Back to pass. He's throwing over the middle. It is caught by James Scott. First down at the Packer 36-yard line. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Packer Radio Network.
This fall, WTMJ Radio will bring you Bucks basketball right here on WTMJ Milwaukee. Be listening.
Chicago Bears are on the move down to the Packer 36-yard line, and a first down there. Quick turn-in pattern by James Scott, who didn't drop that one.
No, he didn't. I think Willie's playing a little deeper, too, Jim, because you can remember in that first half on that long fly pattern for that touchdown, so that turn-in is a little more effective.
Steve Schubert is a flat man on the right side. Scott is split out wide right for the Bears, who are driving to our right. Here's the handoff to Walter Payton, sweeping to the weak side at the 35 on his feet, gave a move, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds at the 32-yard line. So he picked up about 4 yards on the play. But again, you just wonder how he can get so open so quickly. And he really gets to the outside very fast.
Well, he has a great rapport with those offensive linemen. That time, number 79, Lionel Antoine, and number 65, Noah Jackson, were out there leading the interference. And as you know, Peyton's one of those guys, Jim, who when he gets in the end zone and scores a touchdown, instead of spiking the ball himself, he hands it to his offensive linemen and lets them have a little bit of the credit.
Well, he got 5 on that one, Bob, and that's second down and 5 yards to go, and he has 100 yards exactly today. Second down and 5 yards to go for the first down. For the Chicago Bears, it's the Packer 31. Off to Roland Harper, mix-up, and Roland gets back to the 30-yard line, and that's all. He ran into his own man and then bounced off him, and the Packers hit him with Alden Roche, bringing him down at the 30-yard line. Third down, and a good 4 yards to go for the first down for the Chicago Bears. So the Packers have a chance to stop them right here. 5:10 to go in the third quarter of the game, and the lights are coming on here at Lambeau Field. It's not dark yet, but the way this game is going, it's going to be after sundown before we finish. Sundown today is 4:19, Bob. Did you know that?
No, that's
well, now you know. Now you know it. That's one of those trivia things you got to keep up with. Third and about 4 yards to go for the Bears. Avellini to throw. Swing pass right. Roland Harper trying to run. Broke a tackle, and he got the first down on his feet inside the 25, down to the 22-yard line. Roland Harper. And he blew past somebody. Might have been Don Hanson at about the 35-yard line to get the first down. And the Bears are threatening now at the 22-yard line here late in the third quarter.
Right, that simple swing pattern out of the backfield to Harper with James Scott, the receiver, sealing downfield. He has great strength in his legs. He came right out of the tackle with Don Hanson, and that was the same pass they threw earlier in this drive. So the Bears are driving here at the 22-yard line.
Avellini, 6 out of 8 today. Passing for 94 yards. First down, Chicago. 22-yard line of the Packers. They got to dig in right here. Calling the plays. Packers almost jumped offside. They did. Here's Walter Payton. Payton trying to reverse back at the 25. He lost 3 yards. Now we got some pushing and shoving going on between mild-mannered Noah Jackson and Steve Luke. Now somebody else wants to get into it. This is a nice thing. Warm it up, everybody. We had 2 flags thrown on the play. I think one is going to be offside Green Bay. Notice the one official over there on the 25-yard line who is a good 20 yards away from any fights. Now, he's the wise one.
He's wise. Well, the guys want to get together. It's a little warmer when you get in a group.
I think you're right about that. And, 2 games, this is the last game they play this year. They won't get a chance to chit-chat until next year again. What are we going to have here, folks? I think it might be offsetting penalties.
Steve Luke was picking on a big guy there, and that's number 65, Noah Jackson. He's kind of mild-mannered. He goes back and...
personal foul against the Chicago Bears. And the Packers were offside. They're offsetting penalties.
Noah was the guy who handed the official his handkerchief earlier in the ball game.
Didn't work, did it? No. He tried. He set up something later, but it didn't work. Final score, the New York Giants 28, Seattle 16. And it's offsetting penalties. The backers appeared to be offside. The Bears, Purefoy, well, who else? Dave Purefoy was offside. Dennis Lick made the personal foul for Green Bay. Well, I mean, for the Bears against Green Bay. Now, Woody Buchanan has gone out, and Mike McCoy has gone in to replace him. So the ball goes back to the 22-yard line. First down for the Bears. Clock stopped at 3:55 to go in the third quarter. It is tied 10-10. The Bears threatening, however, right here. To the left side, Schubert. Right side, James Scott. Running backs are Harper, and this time Payton goes as a wing on the left side. Avellini on the drop, the middle to Harper. Big hold on Harper. Burst inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. Hanson and Clarence Williams make the tackle as Harper made the draw go. They may give him the 16-yard line, and they do. Pick up of 6. Second down, 4 yards to go. Woody Buchanan comes back in, and Mike McCoy goes out. Mike Charles McCoy, that is. That front four has Purefoy, Mike McCoy, Clarence Williams, and Alden Roche. Second down, and 4 yards to go. The Bears really moving it this drive. Again, Payton is the wing on the left side for Chicago. Here's the handoff to Harper. He tries to get outside, bursts through the 15 down to the 13, very close to a first down. Depends on where they put the ball down. It's very close to the 12-yard line. And Chicago is about 11 or 12 yards away from going ahead in this ball game. They're going to put the ball down at the 12-yard line, make it a third down, a yard to go for the first down. No, it's a first down for Chicago. It is a first down. They hadn't moved the sticks and didn't act as if they were going to. So it's a 12, first down, Chicago. It was a sold-out game today, 56-267. How many no-shows? They don't know how many no-shows because the turnstiles froze and they didn't get a true count. Figures? I'll buy that story without any question. First down from the 12-yard line. In motion to the right side goes James Scott. Here's Avellini. Hand off to Payton. Reverses. Alden Roche fell down chasing him. Looking for a block from Avellini. Got it, and he got back to the 9-yard line. Avellini threw a good block to get 3 yards for Walter Payton. Purefoy made the tackle, but Alden Roche had him dead to rights. He reversed and came back, and Alden slipped on the turf and went down.
Yes, he did, Jim. That was that sweep to the right-hand side. Payton saw there was no running room. Reversed his field, went back to the left, and Bob Avellini did have a good block, resulting in that 3-yard gain. That could have been cut for a loss in that situation.
Well, they actually give him 4, Bob, down to the 8-yard line. Second down, 6 yards to go for the first down, 8 yards for the touchdown. We have 1:47 to go, third quarter of the game. Payton and Roland Harper, the running backs for the Chicago Bears. Big series right here. Here's Avellini, play action, back to pass, looping it towards the end zone, caught by Roland Harper at the 5-yard line, and immediately hit and brought down on good coverage that time by Gary Weaver. He came across the field with him and rode him right at the 5-yard line. So it's going to be third down and 3 yards to go. Not a big pickup, only 3 yards on that play by the Bears.
Very good play by Gary Weaver, following Harper out to the flat, which is a little different than a swing pass. Harper just went out to the flat, and we're there with about a 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3 situation. So a big play here for the Green Bay Packers.
It's at the 5-yard line, so it's 3rd and 3. They have to get to the 2 for a first down. We're at 1:03 to go in the third quarter, tied 10-10. The Bears go out of an I formation. Scott right and Schubert to the left. Avellini, the quarterback, gives it to Walter Payton. He didn't get the first down. He got the 4. And he finally is brought down at the 8. Now, if he was still on his feet and they ruled that he was, then he would be back at the 8-yard line, or he'd be at the 4 otherwise. Let's see what they rule. The 4-yard line. So the Bears have to go for the field goal. And Bob Thomas will kick it with 48 seconds to go. Bob Thomas to try the field goal for the Chicago Bears. He has one already today, and that one was a 40-yarder.
Big play there by Don Hanson, Jim.
Sure was. And Walter Payton wouldn't go down, and he went down at the 8-yard line. Now, holding the ball for the Bears is number 19, Gary Huff. Down goes the ball. The kick is up, and the Packers tried to block it, could not do it. It is good, and the Bears lead it 13-10 with 31 seconds remaining here in the third quarter of the game. And it's been a heck of a football game, but, Bob, that time the Bears had a good drive.
Yes, they did. They moved that ball right down the field, mixing up their plays real well. One of the real significant things about that drive, Jim, is twice you mentioned they moved Walter Payton to the wingback position. And when they moved them out there, it had a tendency to move our linebackers, spread our defense out a little bit, and they were gaining some good yardage up the middle. But we're just as fortunate there. The defense toughened inside the 10-yard line to give them only 3 points and get that ball back going in the last quarter.
Let's see. That drive started that time at the Bear 37-yard line. I just spilled the soft drink here.
I think it's frozen.
And it's going to freeze, so it won't be any problem. Won't be any problem at all. We have 31 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, and Bob Thomas will kick it off for the Chicago Bears. He's hit 2 field goals today. And the Packers trail again, 13-10 in the contest. Now they're going to have to come on strong here in the fourth quarter of this game. You'll recall down in Chicago, it was the Bears who took charge in the fourth quarter, and that was the difference in the contest. Steve, just leave it there. It'll all go away sooner or later. Won't be there. Well, might be there when we come back next spring, but I'm not sure. Here's the kickoff by Thomas. Again, a squibbler. And it's going to be picked up by Bob Hyland. Here comes Bolden Bob up the middle to the 37-yard line. That is the third time he's returned a kick this year. Johnny Musso made the tackle, but the Bears get the ball to the Packers at the 37 or 8-yard line. Pretty good field position from which to start. Hyland may want more pay next year if he's going to be a returner.
Hasn't shown me much speed, though.
No, but he's got power. He just puts his head down the minute he catches the ball and starts going forward. From the 37-yard line, 23 seconds left in the third quarter. Packers trail at 13-10. Carlos Brown, the quarterback, calling the signals. Carlos almost dropped it. Got it off to Eric Torkelson. And Eric is out to the 40-yard line for a pickup of about 3 yards. But that may be the end of the third quarter. It's a gain of 3 to the 40-yard line. Second down, let's call it 7 yards to go for the first down for Green Bay. The Packers have not had a strong, sustained offense today, but they are just 3 points away from the Chicago Bears. At the end of the third quarter, the score, Chicago 13, the Packers 10. This is the Packer Radio Network.
When it comes to beer, it's not where you brew it, it's how you brew it. Take Ondecker of America. For years, experts have rated Ondecker most highly on the list of the world's great beers. Robert Balzer, writing in the home magazine of the Los Angeles Times, called Ondecker creamy smooth. John Porter, in his book All About Beer, says Ondecker is elegance in beer. There's no secret to Ondecker's luxurious taste. Ondecker simply uses the finest brewing ingredients in the world and then lets nature take its own time in the brewing process to let those ingredients reach the fullest maturity. Ondecker may sound like a hard name to remember, but after one taste, you'll find Ondecker is a hard name to forget. No beer in the world tastes better, because there's no better way to make beer anywhere. Ondecker of America.
Well, we have 15 minutes remaining in the game. 13-10. The Bears lead the Green Bay Packers. The Packers will have second down and almost 8 yards to go for the first down. They're at their own 40-yard line. The Bears getting a 23-yard field goal from Bob Thomas to take the lead with 31 seconds remaining there in the third quarter of the game. Bears out there in their defensive secondary testing the turf to see what kind of footing they have. I would think in this instance that the receivers probably have the advantage because they know where they want to go, and the defenders got to try to plant and go with them. And so they have the more difficult job of the two. 15 minutes left in this ball game, and the Packers trailing 13-10. It has been a typical Chicago Bear Green Bay Packer game. Walter Payton has had a good day. 25 carries, 104 yards, averaging about 4 yards per carry so far today. Packers come to the line of scrimmage with Will Harrell and John Brockington. Ollie Smith and Kenny Payne split it off to the left side. Calling the plays is Carlos Brown. Carlos on a second down, dropped the ball again, picks it up, tries to move forward, and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Carlos Brown, he almost dropped the one prior to this. And that time he did drop it, but fortunately he was able to reach down and pick it up. So that's a tough play for the Packers right there. Now a big third down play coming, and 8 yards to go for the first down.
Really changes the complexion of the play, and then they'll probably change the play, Jim, a 3rd and 8 situation versus maybe a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. It also changes the defense on how they approach this play.
I'll show you how cold it is. That clock has slowed down. It says 10 minutes after 2, and that's almost an hour late. That clock on the scoreboard here. Here's Carlos, back to pass, play action, looking, fires it over the middle, and intended for Ollie Smith, and broken up nicely out there by Craig Clemens, who had perhaps a better shot at the ball than did Ollie Smith, so the Packers have to kick it away.
Well, that was that square out that was so effective in the third quarter and in the second quarter, and they were throwing to Ollie. This time was well played by number 43, Craig Clemens, and it's a good thing that ball was thrown a little high, Jim, because he was stepping in front of Ollie on that play and may have had a chance for the interception.
So the Packers have to give it away. 14-16 to go in the game. We're in the fourth quarter, and the Packers trailed at one time 10-0, tied it up in the third quarter 10-10. Now the Bears have taken the lead 13-10. Back deep to receive this kick is Steve Schubert. Fourth kick of the afternoon by Dave Beverly. Waiting for the snap from center from Bob Hyland, who does all the snapping on those. Good snap from center. Kick is away, and a great kick by Beverly. Schubert goes back, takes it at the 24-yard line, looking for running room, and goes down at the 26. So Beverly got a lot of foot into that one. Bob Barber made the tackle for the Chicago Bears, or rather for the Packers, and out of the 27-yard line. The applause, I believe, is because Dave Roller's going in.
I think so.
Dave Roller's going to play defensive tackle, and he's already charged up. Well, you keep an eye on him, Bob, and see what happens on his first play or two. 14:07 to go in the game. And I think we got a timeout call, but I didn't see it, so we'll just keep it right here and tell you the fact that anyone can be an owner member of Midland Cooperative. Stop in and talk to the Midland Co-op manager about membership. 14 minutes, 7 seconds left in the ball game, and the Packers trailing 13-10. Green Bay with a 4-7 record. Chicago is 5-6. So if the Packers could win, they would tie the Bears with the same record today. Detroit won earlier in the week, and Minnesota plays tomorrow night. So the Packers will have to go on defense. The ball running at the 27-yard line. You know, M&I Banks provide you with a strong partner. M&I Bank, serving you through 29 locations statewide. We're still waiting for the officials to put the ball in play from the 27-yard line. The sun has started to go down, and I think it's going to get colder rather than warmer.
Exactly.
For the afternoon.
I was going to mention that with that sun going down, it really gets cold down in their field, and especially in those sidelines, too. It's difficult to keep your hands warm, your legs warm, and it's going to be a very interesting last quarter, last 14 minutes. We need to stop them right here on this drive.
All right, first down for the Bears from the 27-yard line. Avellini started to go out of the eye, then he splits his two running backs of Roland Harper and Walter Payton. Avellini calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. Here's the handoff to Walter Payton, tries to dance to the outside, stayed on his feet, looks for some running room, and gets up the sideline and got out to the 31-yard line, picked up 4 yards on the play, and there's no way he should have gotten away, but he does. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. Alden Roche and Don Hanson ran him out of bounds finally, but he picked up 4 yards on the play. Should have had loss back to the 25.
He sure should have, but I'm sure if Lionel was here, Jim, and he would tell you as far as a defensive lineman or a defensive end is concerned, when you have a man like Payton, the first man's responsibility is to go through the man, go through the runner, and wait for your help to catch up to you.
All right, second down, 6 yards to go for the Bears. From the 31-yard line of Chicago, the Bears leading 13-10. Avellini's going to pass. Avellini fires it over the middle. Gary Weaver had it, dropped it. Oh, Gary Weaver made a good defensive play, however, to get to the ball, and he caught that ball right in the crook of his arm, and it just wouldn't stay there.
Certainly did. That was a circle route being run by Roland Harper coming out of the backfield. He was running to the flat on earlier patterns. This time, instead of going to the flat, he took it in a circle route down the middle. Gary Weaver on a great play and almost had the interception.
I'll tell you what would have been fun. He was going so fast. Had he caught that ball, he would have had some running momentum toward the goal line of the Chicago Bears. He was coming cross field, but he was wound up and ready to go.
A lot of room on this right-hand side.
3rd and 6. From their own 31, Chicago. Payton in motion to the right side. First time he's done that. Avellini broke it up and tackled by Mike McCoy as he came through, but there's a flag on the play. There is a flag on the play. We'll have to watch and see what the flag is all about. Mike McCoy was in there so quickly, you wonder if he might have been offside, or had Payton turned upfield too quickly. It was declined. I think Payton turned upfield too quickly.
I think so, Jim, but there was the greatest example for the people who are watching the ball game on their television sets and and are listening to our broadcast on the radio, there was the greatest example of what they call a submarine by the defensive lineman. McCoy was so quick, and he submarined right underneath the offensive lineman and grabbed his ankle.
So from the 24, Bob Parsons will kick it. We have 13:51 to go in the game. And the Packers are trailing 13-10. But a good defensive stand by the Packer defensive front four. Good kick by Parsons. Johnny Gray at the 35. Try and circle, look for some running room. He comes back to the 40, gets to the outside, tries to go around the corner, and only gets the 42. And he's spun out of bounds there by Mike Adamley. So from the 42, the Packers will take over. Timeout. This is the Packer Radio Network.
Your friends at your nearest Midland Cooperative would like to take you on a merry-go wonderland trip through Christmas. Christmas gifts, Christmas savings, great surprises, and wide-open eyes come this Christmas morning. For Mom, who deserves to be remembered more than just about anybody, Midland has a stocking full of things to make life easier. Mixers, steam and dry irons, blenders from $24.88, appliances of every kind from every famous maker, all priced to save. For Dad, Midland's sleigh is loaded with tools from sanders to saws, with workbenches and CB radios. If it's something a man will like, you'll find it at Midland. And for the small fry, Midland is the place for guaranteed smiles on Christmas morning. Old-fashioned dolls, electric trains, sleds, trikes and bikes, wagons, toboggans, and assorted stocking stuffers. This year, even Santa himself is going to do his Christmas shopping at Midland. How about you? The gifts are all here. The savings are too. The only thing left to say is Merry Christmas shopping from Midland.
Packers take the ball at the 42-yard line. They're on. Good field position again. Trailing 13-10. A lot of time left, 13 minutes and 38 seconds. But, Bob, you'd like to get in front and then make the other team come from behind.
Right, and this is a great position here on our own 42-yard line and driving. If we go in and get a score here, it would put the Bears at a definite disadvantage.
All right, first down for the Packers from the 42. Two split men to the right side. Carlos Brown, play action, back to pass. Looking for a halfback. Now he's going to throw down the middle. Ollie Smith underthrew it. Allen Ellis intercepted. 30, 35, 40, 45 up the field, back to the 49-yard line. He just underthrew the ball very, very badly. No chance for Ollie Smith to come back to it.
Ollie was not the primary receiver on that play, Jim. He was actually looking for Will Harrell, who was coming out of the backfield and running one-on-one against the linebacker on the left-hand side, running deep on a fly pattern. However, he was not open. The play was well covered by the outside linebacker for the Bears. Ollie was actually a secondary receiver, and he came back, but he did throw that ball a little short, and as a result, it resulted in the interception.
All right, Dave Rhoda trying to fire up the defensive unit. They were on the bench for only one play, and Carlos Brown threw the interception. First down from the 49, hand off to Johnny Musso, trying to sweep to the right, hit at the line of scrimmage, broke the tackle, got out to the 44-yard line of Green Bay. Johnny Musso did a good job. Johnny Gray finally made the tackle, but Musso picked up at least 7 yards down to the 44-yard line of Green Bay.
That's right. They call him the Italian Stallion from Alabama. Johnny Musso made a nice run in that play, but you're seeing something there, Jim. It's getting more difficult to tackle on those sweeps than on pass plays on the open field when your hands get so cold on an afternoon like today. So you're going to see more of that as the game goes on.
Bob Barber has come in and Clarence Williams has gone out. I don't think the Packers are too pleased with Clarence so far today. That's the second time he's been taken out in favor of Barber. It is going to be second down, about 3 yards to go for the first down. Handoff goes up the middle, and driving for the first down for the Chicago Bears, I believe it's Roland Harper. We'll have to wait and see if who gets up. It is Roland Harper, first down at the 39-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. Not Williams, but Don Hanson and Bob Barber are the men who make the tackle for Green Bay. So it'll be a first down for the Chicago Bears at the Packer 39-yard line. Boy, this game changed complexion there. The Packers were driving or had the ball in good position, but lost it on an interception. Second of the day by Carlos Brown. One lone running back for Chicago, this time at a wing. Back to pass is Avellini. Looking, fires it over the middle, and it went through the hands of Greg Latta down at the 30-yard line, but they had two receivers in that same position, Roland Harper and Greg Latta, so there must have been a mix-up there somewhere.
Definitely a mix-up over there. In any kind of a passing game, you never have two receivers in the same zone. Actually, one man could have covered both of those receivers. Had they been spread out a little bit more, there might have been a little more room to pass that ball for the completion. But it kind of surprised me there, Jim, that the Chicago Bears would throw because they're having so much success in running that ball.
Second down and 10 from the Packers 39-yard line for Chicago. Up under calling signals, Bob Avellini. He's played every down this year against the Green Bay Packers on offense. Here's Avellini on a handoff. Quick slant play by Roland Harper. 30, 25, 24, 23-yard line. Johnny Gray made the tackle, just a quick slant, and they had a heck of a hole, and Roland Harper ran right through it. And Roland is having a good day, too.
Yes, he is. Not bad for a blocking back. That was a counter play where they had the pulling guard going right. And in that situation, the defensive tackle followed the pulling guard. There was a wide hole. The counter came back in. Roland Harper got the first down.
You know, the one thing that you now begin to hope is that you hold the Bears to a field goal try. That would still leave you an opportunity to get a touchdown and get the lead. But you can't let them score a touchdown with 11 and a half minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Musso and Harper, the running backs, on a first down. Pitch to Musso, trying to get to the outside. He's at the 20. He's at the 15, and he goes out of bounds at the 12-yard line, and the Bears are just running at will. It's against the Green Bay Packers. Fred Carr pushed him out.
Yes, they are, Jim. That was a pitch out this time to the left-hand side. They've been running mostly to our right, but they pitched out to the left. Lionel Entwine was out there with a great seal block, giving Musso the room that he needed for that another first down for the Bears.
10 seconds for station identification. This is the Packer Radio Network.
Make sure you're registered in the Winners Club to be eligible for a treasure chest of daily prizes here on WTMJ, Milwaukee.
The Bears with a first down at the Packer 12-yard line and driving for what could be a clinching touchdown here. One lone running back. Here's the handoff to Harper. He picks his way back to the 11, down to the 10-yard line for a pickup of 2. Draw play up the middle to Roland Harper, and he picked his way for 2 yards. Don Hampson made the tackle for Green Bay, but it'll be a second down and 8 for Chicago at the Packer 10. You got to stop them and make them go for the field goal with 11 minutes now left to go in the game. Second down, 8 yards to go. The clock running. 13-10, Chicago leading it. Randy Johnson is warming up on the sidelines. Whether he'll go in or not remains to be seen, but he is warming up on the sideline. Musso and Harper, the running backs. Payton is out of there. He hasn't played that much here in the second half of the game. Here's the handoff to Musso. Found a hole up the middle, but he only got 2 to the 8-yard line before he was hit low by Mike McCoy. And Alden Roche and Dave Roller helped out on the tackle. But it's a third down play now for the Bears at the 8-yard line. 3rd and 6 yards to go for the first down for Chicago. The Packers need a big defensive play right now. Need a big play. Schubert comes in, carrying the play for Bob Avellini. We're 10-10 left in the game. The Bears taking a lot of time on this possession of the ball. Front 4 of Roller McCoy, Bob Barber, and Alden Roche. 3rd and 6 at the 8-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. Avellini's going to pass. Avellini backfires it over the middle, and Scott fell down. Scott thought he was tripped, but there was no call on the play. He fell down at the goal line, and the play was inside of him towards the middle of the field. And now the Bears have to go for the field goal, and that is a big break.
It sure was, Jim. Scott was running the quick slant from the right-hand side. He fell down. I didn't see anyone push him. Avellini thought he was tripped also, but that was a big play for the Pack, and if we can get out of here with only giving up 3 points, we have a big plus in our favor.
That was the sure touchdown for the Chicago Bears right there, because Scott had the inside route on the defender, Johnny Gray. Parsons will try the field goal. This will be a 25-yarder. Or Bob Thomas, rather, not Parsons. Bob Thomas to try the field goal. Holding is Gary Huff. Waiting for the snap. It goes down. The kick is up. It's on its way, and it's good. And the Bears have taken the lead 16-10. 9:46 to go in the ball game. Timeout. This is the Packer Radio Network.
You are arranging for a shipment of rare bongo antelopes from Nairobi, Kenya, to the Milwaukee County Zoo by way of Rome, Naples, and Washington, D.C. in a new Concord transport. Or your business, in a diplomatic gesture, is sponsoring $1 million traveling Chinese art show in 12 cities across the United States. Or you are shopping around for reasonable automobile insurance for your family. Your premiums are constantly rising. What do? Call Robertson Ryan. Whatever your insurance needs, whether it's for property, automobile, or business, call Robertson Ryan. For insurance, call Robertson Ryan.
Packers are still in good shape. 16-10 they trail with 9:46 to go. As long as you're within one score of taking the lead, you're in good shape. And a lot of time left here, but you can't mess around, and you certainly can't let the Bears have any more. So kicking off will be Bob Thomas. He's kicked 3 field goals today. He gets a pretty good slicing kick. Then Eric Torkelson drops it to 15. Picks it up. Back to the 20. 25 off his feet down to the 27-yard line. Eric Torkelson, that was a line drive, and Eric knocked it down, and he got hit right in the small of the back on the tackle, and he's hurt. Eric is hurt down at the 27-yard line. He's trying to get up, but he's having great difficulty doing it. Mike Adamley hit him at the 27-yard line. Now, who's going to be the quarterback? Randy Johnson is going to come in at quarterback for Green Bay. Carlos Brown had a terrible day. 5 out of 17 for 125 yards, and he threw 2 touchdowns. Torkelson is the injured player, but he's getting up now.
Jim, it was really obvious on that last pass that was intercepted by the Bears that Bart was very unhappy with Carlos Brown. That wasn't even the primary receiver, and he threw it way short. Shouldn't even have thrown that ball to Ollie, and was intercepted, breaking up their drive. Randy Johnson, I played with Randy, Jim. He's got a great arm. He's been a real asset. They've been real happy with him since he came to Green Bay, and he's starting to pick up the system.
So first down from the 27-yard line, the first play for Randy Johnson, who's a 10-year veteran. Randy calling signals. Last with the Washington Redskins. Here's the handoff to Will Harrell. Slipped inside 35 to the 40 and out to the 41-yard line for Will Harrell. Wayman Bryant made the tackle. That's the counter play again. And Will Harrell just slipped through a little opening and got about 8 on the play.
Almost like a delayed draw. That was one of our finer running plays we've had all day, and I've been emphasizing that point, Jim. It's necessary to establish a running game if your passing game is going to go.
Well, it's going to be the 36-yard line. I may have said the 41. So he's a yard shy of the first down. It is Osborne and John Brockington, the running backs now for Green Bay, from their 36-yard line. Randy Johnson again, the quarterback for the Packers. Here's Randy on the handoff to John Brockington. He lost 2. John lost 2 as Wally Chambers just overpowered somebody on the left offensive side of the Packers, either Concar or Bruce Van Dyke, and met John before he ever got to the hole. Now it's a third down play, and it's going to be at least 4 yards to go, and that's a big difference.
It sure is, and that time Wally Chambers, who is recognized as being one of the finest defensive linemen in the league, just overpowered Mark Concar on that side and changed the complexion of this play for sure.
3rd and 4. You need a first down. It is 8 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the ball game. Johnson calling signals. Here comes his first pass. He's looking. Randy takes a lot of time. Slips out of it at the 30, 35, trying to get the first down. He went down at about the 38-yard line, and I think he got the first down. I think he knew where he was, and he went down at the 38, and he got the first down. Good, quick thinking on the part of Randy Johnson for a first down.
Completely aware of where he was on the field at all times, getting that first down, Jim, and that was a heads-up play by Randy, and I hope he can get a chance to relax here, establish a long drive, and it'll help us out in the long run.
So at the 38-yard line, the clock is an enemy right now. 7:48 to go in the game. Each team, well, the Bears have 3 timeouts. The Packers had to use one of theirs early in the third quarter, so that'll hurt them too. Here's Randy. He slipped coming out from under center, lost the ball, and has to fall on it at the 33. He just slipped on the turf trying to back out from under center. And he goes down and loses 5 yards on the play, and it becomes a second down and 15 yards to go for the first down. Looks like a pass play coming up on that particular drive.
Right, kind of a rollout, but it is getting, the footing out there is becoming more difficult as the sun goes down. It's you can see it getting more slick. The receivers are tiptoeing around on their patterns. The defensive backs are starting to slip, so it's going to make it more difficult for the Pack on this drive.
Second down, 15 yards to go for the first down from the 33-yard line of Green Bay in their possession. One man to the right side. Here goes Randy Johnson back to pass. Randy looking, has to chase out of the pocket. Still waiting for somebody to cut to it. To Rich McGeorge. Caught it. He's at midfield. He's down to the Bear 45-yard line. Randy Johnson kept his cool back there. He just sidestepped one defender, waited for Rich McGeorge to clear and hit him at midfield, and Rich ran it to the 45-yard line.
Well, there was a great example, Jim, of, as you said, a mature quarterback. Randy didn't lose his cool. He had a lot of time. The one thing that was significant on that play is the receivers are tiptoeing around on their patterns. The defensive backs are starting to slip, so it's going to make it more difficult for the Pack on this drive.
Second down, 15 yards to go for the first down from the 33-yard line of Green Bay in their possession. One man to the right side. Here goes Randy Johnson back to pass. Randy looking, has to chase out of the pocket. Still waiting for somebody to cut to it to Rich McGeorge. Caught it. He's at midfield. He's out of the Bear 45-yard line. Randy Johnson kept his cool back there. He just sidestepped one defender, waited for Rich McGeorge to clear and hit him at midfield, and Rich ran it to the 45-yard line.
Well, there was a great example, Jim, of, as you said, a mature quarterback. Randy didn't lose his cool. He had a lot of time. The one thing that was significant on that play is Rich McGeorge kept moving around. Some of our wide receivers weren't moving around very well. Rich kept moving, finally getting open, giving Randy a target to hit him for a big, big first down.
At the 45-yard line of the Chicago Bears. To the left side go Ollie Smith as a slot man and Kenny Payne as a wide receiver. Now Smith in motion to the near side of the field. Brockington and Osborne, the running backs, they give it to John. And John dives to the 40-yard line for a pickup of 5. John Brockington straight ahead for 5 yards down to the 40-yard line. And the clock running with 6 minutes and 16 seconds left on it.
A dive play to Brockington over Bruce Van Dyke, the right guard. And a big 5 yards on that play, Jim. It changes this with a 2nd and 5. You can expect almost anything. It makes the defense be more alert also for the pass and the run.
So it's 2nd and 5 yards to go from the 40-yard line. Randy Johnson, the quarterback, receiver left and right. Running backs of Harold and John Brockington. Here's the fake handoff. Back to pass goes Randy Johnson, throwing down the middle for Ollie Smith, and he underthrew him. Ollie had cleared the defenders, but Randy didn't throw it far enough. Ollie had broken through 2 defenders, but the ball was underthrown, and fortunate the Bears didn't pick it up.
That's exactly right. That was a post pattern that time to Ollie Smith, and I really questioned that throw, too. Even though he had beaten a cornerback, he was getting a lot of help back there from the free safety and a strong safety. Craig Clemens, number 43, was back in there, dropping off from his position, and there were 3 defenders around that pass. We're very fortunate not to have that intercepted.
5:41 to go in the game. The clock stopped on the incomplete pass. Packers have a 3rd and 5 right now. Got to get the first down to keep the drive going. Here's Randy Johnson straight back in the pocket. Pressure. He's going to be the ball knocked away from him. It's loose. The Bears pick it up at the 38-yard line. They'll get it at the 35. The man who fell on it is Roger Stillwell at the 35-yard line. The Bears ball. Randy Johnson sacked, lost the ball, and the Bears take it at the 35. With 5.5 minutes to go, and the Packers have a real problem right now.
Yes, they do, and that hurt. Jim Osborne, number 68, put unbelievable pressure on Randy Johnson that time. Was almost back there faster than Randy. Grabbed the hold of the ball, sprung it loose, and the Bears recover, and we have to leave it up to our defense again. It seems like it's been that way all season long.
You know, Roger Stillwell could have picked that ball up and run it, but he chose to fall on it instead, and that was a break for the Packers. It's at the 34-yard line of Green Bay. The defensive unit's going to have to come through right now. 5:33 to go in the game. Calling plays, Bob Avellini. Pitches deep to the right side. Roland Harper tries to swing. The corner got back to the 35, and that's all. He lost a yard. Clarence Williams and Willie Buchanan make the tackle for the Green Bay Packers. 2nd down. 11 yards to go for Chicago at the Packers' 35-yard line. 5:17 remaining. The Bears leading 16-10 in the ball game. Packers had a good drive going. They had reached the 40-yard line of Chicago when that last play happened. Now we'll see what happens here on a 2nd and 11. You just cannot afford to give them anything. We're at the 5-minute mark in the game. Avellini quarterbacking and calling plays. Musso and Roland Harper, the running backs. In motion to the right side goes James Scott. Avellini is going to hand it off to Musso. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, spins to the 33, maybe the 32. It'll be 3rd down, Chicago. And about 8 yards to go. Hanson and Clarence Williams make the tackle. But the clock is the big thing right now. It is a big enemy. Getting up very slowly is Noah Jackson. He seems to have a hurt right leg, but he's coming back to the line of scrimmage. And nobody's going to come in for you, Noah, so you got to tough it out.
You got to play with those small hurts.
3rd down 8. I don't think that one's that small, to tell you the truth. 3rd and 8. Packers need a big defensive play here. Avellini's going to throw. Back in the pocket. Chase hit, and he's going to be thrown back at the 43-yard line. Bob Avellini. Alden Roche was the first one through. And who else is in there? Clarence Williams. Everybody from the front 4, all 4 of them, are in on the tackle.
Just like last week, just like all season, a great rush by our 4 defensive linemen. Mike McCoy finally got in there to make the tackle, but there was another big play for the defense. We're going to get that ball back, Jim, and kind of got us out of field goal range there, too.
Well, it is going to be one last big chance for the Packers, or it appears to be one last chance. And Parsons wants to put Johnny Gray back as deep as he can possibly do it. He is kicking with the ball snap from the 43. Packers came after it and almost got it. But Parsons got a good kick away, and it hits and goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line. So the Packers are 85 yards away from the goal line. 85 yards away from a winning touchdown, and they'll start from their own 15-yard line. Tough position to be in. But the Packers have at least got a chance with 3:48 to go. So there is ample time. They'll mark it officially at the 16, so it's only 84 yards away. See, it comes quick. Only got a yard left to go now. 3:48 left in the game. Out to the right side, Kenny Payne. Ollie Smith goes left. Brockington and Will Harrell, the running backs. And Randy Johnson, the quarterback. Randy's back in the pocket. Quick out pattern throw to Kenny Payne. Hit and pushed out of bounds. At the 20-yard line, he picked up 4 on the play. It'll be second down and 6. Allen Ellis made the tackle on Kenny Payne. Second and 6. That's a completion, and that'll loosen him up just a little bit. Right. Gained 4 on the play.
That quick turnout to Kenny Payne, gaining 4 yards. Could have been a little bit deeper, but they were dropping off that linebacker real sharp to protect against that quick turnout. And they're playing up a little tighter. It doesn't seem like with their big rush, they're not too scared about the long pass.
Second down, and 6 yards to go for the first down from the 20-yard line they're on for Green Bay. 3:43 to go in the game. Here's the handoff to Dave Osborne. He slides through out to the 22-yard line. So the Packers are going to come to a key third down play. Wally Chambers and Don Reeves made the tackle for the Chicago Bears. Where are they going to mark the ball? At the 22-yard line. It becomes a 3rd and 4 yards to go. Will Harrell brings the play in from the sideline. He's only getting to the huddle with 20 seconds left on that time clock. So the Packers will have to hurry to get this play off. It's down to 15, and we're at 3:15 to go in the game. 3rd and 4. You got to get a first down here. Randy Johnson has to call timeout. Let's take it here. This is the Packer Radio Network.
By the time you actually see or smell smoke, it may be too late. That's why True Value Hardware stores suggest you protect your family with the First Alert Professional Fire and Smoke Detector by Pitway. First Alert is so sensitive it can detect fire before you can see it. And then it gives a loud 85 decibel warning that can wake you from a deep sleep. Choose the battery-operated model with power cell or one that runs on house current with a 9-foot cord. First Alert from True Value Hardware stores is the first choice of professional alarm installers. The first choice of more than 1 million American families. Get Pitway's First Alert Professional Smoke and Fire Detector at participating True Value Hardware stores.
True Value Hardware is more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that beats True Value.
3:09 left in the game. 3rd down, 4 yards to go for the first down from the 22.5-yard line of the Green Bay Packers in their possession, and they trail 16-10. Ollie Smith, slot man right, Kenny Payne, wide receiver right. Running backs Will Harrell and John Brockington on a 3rd and 4. Randy Johnson, the quarterback, calling the signals. Randy's going to pass, rolling slightly right. Looks, fires up the middle, wide open, Rich McGeorge, 35. To the 40, on his feet to the 42-yard line for a first down. Don Reeves made the tackle, but that's the second time that Randy Johnson has gone to Rich McGeorge.
He certainly has, Jim. That was a kind of a delay to Rich McGeorge, and he made a turnout on the left-hand side. Randy found him. I think it showed what that timeout did. They had a little chance to come over to the sidelines, talk over the situation. A real big play for the Pack to keep that drive going.
At the 42-yard line they're on, and we're at 2 minutes and 39 seconds remaining in the game. The Packers have only one timeout remaining, but they'll get the 2-minute warning that will help somewhat. At the 42, Randy Johnson calling plays. Randy back in the pocket to pass. Good protection. Looks, fires over the middle. Ollie Smith caught it. He's down to the 37 and 38-yard line of Chicago. At the 38 of Chicago, and Ollie Smith is having a heck of a day.
He sure is, Jim. Ollie was in a slot formation, running out of the slot on the right-hand side. Did a turn in or a square in from the right-hand side, running across the field. Randy Johnson's looking good. He's putting that ball right in there, and Ollie made the nice catch.
And we get the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left. The Bears 16, the Packers stand timeout. This is the Packer Radio Network.
50 miles out that wintry day. A solitary man was trapped, they say, out on a snowmobile riding alone. Biggest storm of the winter between him and home. Well, he could have dug in and waited her out. Instead, he turned north and let out a shout. Come on, you blizzard, I'll play your game. Me and this sled, 'cause cyclone's the name. That blizzard did its best and beat on his back, following along in his burning track. But that racing-bred sled just hunched down and flew. Wasn't a thing that deer couldn't do. Well, he made it home, and it's perfectly clear. Out on the snow, nothing runs like a deer. Big John. Big John Deere. Big John.
The Green Bay Packers have had opportunities all day long, and now they have one more chance. A first down at the 38-yard line of the Chicago Bears. 2 minutes left in the game, and the Packers have one timeout remaining. So in reality, Bob, you cannot mess around here. You got to get it in there quickly.
You can, Jim, and as you mentioned before, Rich McGeorge has been open almost all day long. What we're going to have to do is try to find those openings in that zone really through the middle. You don't want to throw to the outside in a situation like this on a square out. You've got to try to keep in the middle, as we have in those 2 last pass completions, one to Rich McGeorge and one to Ollie Smith, who's having a nice day, and I believe he's got 4 receptions for 121 yards, but I think that little addition in height is helping him.
All right, think about those 2 missed field goals of Chester Barcole and what they would mean right now. From the 38 of the Chicago Bears, first down for Green Bay. Randy Johnson, the quarterback. Randy on the handoff gives it to John Brockington, and he loses. No, now he gets back to the 38. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Packers tried to cross up the Bears, didn't get anything out of it. Second down, 10 yards to go. John tried to run it, couldn't do it. Dave Osborne comes in. Brockington hustles back to the line of scrimmage with 1:45 to go in the game. That cost you a lot of time right there. Johnson still in the huddle. Brings them to the line of scrimmage with 1:35. Packers need a big one. They're back at the 39, second down, 11. Waiting, here goes Ollie Smith in motion to the far side of the field. Randy's back to pass. Looking, got some pressure. Throws it off to the right side. Caught and dropped by Ollie Smith at the 33-yard line. Had it for a moment and dropped it. And Randy Johnson upset with himself a little bit. He had some pressure from Wally Chambers, but the clock is stopped with 1:22 to go. Oh, you got to get it into the end zone. It would be a shame to lose this ball game.
We had a lot of opportunities, as you mentioned, many times, Jim. We had 5 opportunities, 4 in the first half, and didn't score in any of them. Finally got an opportunity late in the second half and got that touchdown to Kenny Payne. But we've had the ball in great field position all day to just come up empty-handed one time after another. So we got 2 big downs coming up here to get another first down.
All right, 1:22. The Packers still have one timeout remaining. Johnson, the quarterback, calling the signals from the 39-yard line. Randy back in the pocket, chased out of there. Throws on the run. It is caught by Ollie Smith and dropped it to 32. Oh, he was diving for it, and I thought he had the ball, but at the 32-yard line, he couldn't hold on. Again, Wally Chambers put on pressure, and somebody else came charging through for Chicago. I'm not sure who exactly that was. Wait till he turns around. I think it's Osborne. Or no, it's the linebacker, Wayman Bryant. So it is going to be fourth down. Maybe the last chance for the Packers with 1:17 to go right here.
Randy didn't have too much time. He was really lucky to get rid of that ball, throwing again to the flat, trying to hit Ollie Smith. As I mentioned to you, I believe the openings are down the middle, Jim. They've got to look for Rich McGeorge on this play.
Well, he's got to get a first down. He's got to get at least 11 yards. And he comes to the line of scrimmage with only 10 seconds to get the play away. Here's Johnson back to pass. Johnson looking. Randy over the middle. Ollie Smith knocked down beautifully by number 43, Craig Clemens. And Ollie Smith was open, but Clemens made a heck of a play. That ought to do it.
There was a turn in from the slot formation. Ollie Smith on the left-hand side. Looked like Ollie would have had a little room coming this direction to the west side of the field. Had Randy led him a little bit more in that play, but it was a great play by the linebacker, and that definitely hurt.
With 1:12 to go, the Packers can waste only one timeout. That's all they got left. And the Bears ought to be able to control the ball and win the ball game. But Smith was open over the middle, but I'll tell you what, Craig Clemens just made a heck of a defensive play to get a hand on it and knock the play down. That's been the story of the game today for Green Bay. The near misses. What didn't happen rather than what did. 1:12 to go. Avellini and Walter Payton in the group are going to have their second victory against the Packers this year. From the 38-yard line, the Bears take over, first down. Here's Avellini, hand off to Walter Payton, sweeping to the right side. Walter holding onto the ball, gets to the 40, down to the 41-yard line, and stopped there. And let's see whether or not the Packers stop the clock. And have they or not? The clock is running with a minute left in it. It's going to be second down. And about 7 yards to go, the Packers didn't stop it. They let it run. They'll make the Bears run one more play, maybe two. And now Avellini probably will just drop on it. The Bears have 25 seconds to put it in play, and we have about 40 seconds left in the game. The Bears will be 5 and, they'll be 6 and 6, all back at 500.
Real interesting that they'd bring Payton back in the ball game because they've had Musso in there. And Payton's had a tough time holding on to the ball.
Here's Avellini. We're down to 25 seconds. Bob drops on the ball. And it will be third down, and the Packers do stop the clock right now and take a timeout. Let's pause for this message on the Packer Radio Network.
At Kitty Hawk, the chilling winds were whistling across the sand. A coin was tossed, and Orville won. The moment was at hand. So Wilbur cranked the engine. Propellers churned the sky. And on that sight, the brothers Wright proved that man could fly.
You know you need a strong partner if you're gonna get by. Because you need a strong partner. You need a guy like you and I.
For your personal financial needs, it's good to have a strong partner like M&I. Whether it's basic checking, savings, loans, or the many other services offered by your M&I bank, you can depend on that friendly, personal touch with every transaction.
You know you need a strong partner if you're gonna get by. Because you need a strong partner. You need a bank like you and I.
Members FDIC.
We come back into play. Avellini drops on the ball, and now the Bears will just let the clock run out as the Packers cannot stop it anymore. They have run out of timeouts, and the Chicago Bears are going to win it 16-10. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Chicago has won it. Final score here today, the Chicago Bears 16 and the Green Bay Packers 10. The Bears beat the Packers twice today, and Chicago now all even at 6 and 6. The Packers have won 4 and lost 8 with 2 games remaining. We'll be back with some final words on today's game in just 1 minute after this message on the Packer Radio Network. Well, it's all over. The Chicago Bears, the winners today, 16-10, a final score. Bob, there are just too many missed opportunities for the Green Bay Packers here today.
Also, we didn't establish a running game all day long. I thought we've been making good progress during the season. As you know, your running game, when you're running the ball, it sets up your passing game a little bit better. But we couldn't establish anything in that respect all day long. As you said, missed opportunities. When you get that ball down inside the 20-yard line, you've got to score. You've got to come up with something. As a result, we were playing catch-up most of the day, and right there at the end, we were trying to play catch-up, and we couldn't get the big first down that we needed.
Well, a tough game for the Packers to lose. They had hoped to win today and to perhaps even win the last 3 games and finish at 500. Now they cannot do that. They are 4 and 8. What they need is 1 victory in the last 2 games to have an improved record over last season. And it's going to be tough. The Minnesota Vikings are next. And then the final game of the season against the Atlanta Falcons, who have played extremely good football since Scott Hunter took over at quarterback. Well, we'll just simply have to wait and see what happens. Final score again here today, 16-10. The Bears beat the Green Bay Packers. We'll wrap it all up for you on our post-game show. We hope that you'll stay tuned for that. Dick Page has been our engineer here all along in Green Bay this season. Final home game for the Packers here. Our thanks to Tom Kaminsky and to Steve Smith. Stay tuned for the post-game show. This is the Green Bay Packer Radio Network.
Green Bay Packer football has been presented by John Deere Snowmobiles, the one they call Big John, by independent insurance agents of Wisconsin. No matter where you work, they're where you are.
your Big I agent. By Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. Since 1844, the quality has always come through. By Midland Cooperatives. People from every occupation can be owner members. See your Midland Co-op manager for membership. By the Ford dealers of Wisconsin and the UP, who are proud to announce their 1976 Ford Dealer Clearance Sale. By the True Value Hardware Store near your home. True Value, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business. And by your strong partner, M&I Banks, throughout Wisconsin, serving you through 29 locations statewide.
TMJ, Milwaukee, where the